Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is The Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. That's right, we're back with our finale of The Hero of Ages.
Yep, it's done.
We did it.
We did it. Hey, crushed it.
We finished a whole series.
Never done that before.
Nope. Not one this short. This is the shortest series we've read on the book club.
Yeah.
If you don't consider like the Cosmere to be like all the Cosmere.
That's, you know what, that's fair, that's fair.
There we go.
These chairs.
I know, the way they like slide together is wild. Welcome in, everybody. Before we get started, before we were even streaming, someone dropped a super chat. So
What?
Johnny Coleman, thanks so much for dropping that in the chat. So Vin's pullout game in the last part is so great. Marsh literally saves the world with a pullout. And the Khandra promised their daddy that they would pull out in time. Yes.
You are not wrong. Thank you for that super chat. You're just...
You know,
You're correct.
The pull-out game is so strong at the end of this book. I would believe that Brandon Sanderson was Catholic. But unfortunately...
Mormon.
Not unfortunately. I stopped after unfortunately because I was like, it's not really unfortunate. Be what you want to be. You know what I mean? I support you. Blue, thank you for being a 26-month member.
Blue, welcome back. It's always good to have you here.
When are we starting Cradle? It's so funny. I know nothing about Cradle.
Me neither.
Except that people in our Discord really want us to read Cradle.
Yeah. But they also really want us to read The Expanse. So, like, Blue.
We also just started the Cosmere. I don't know.
Yeah, but we said we might take breaks.
Yeah, we might. We're not going to right away. The next book is Elantris.
Cool. I wasn't sure if we were
specifically the 10th anniversary edition.
Oh.
Apparently.
Okay, sure.
And then
didn't know there were a different...
We don't know what's happening after Elantris, but we're going to read Elantris next and do a one-off because we have some vacations and stuff coming up, and it's going to fit. Just fitting one book in between now and our next LA trip is going to work perfectly.
Yeah, we love that for us.
We love that for us.
I'm curious though, Blue. Like, Cradle or Expanse, because you want both, and we can't do both at the same time. So
I mean, we could if we were making way more money on book club.
Sure.
If you guys want to super chat so much that we can stop doing other stuff, then we will do two books at a time. But until that day,
no reactions.
One
only
book at a time.
Club. Only book club.
That'd be fun.
We're a book club only channel.
Oh my god, Daniel Green has it so easy.
But we would still want to do like D&D. So
fuck. You don't do any work for D&D though. You just show up.
What do you mean any work?
I do all yeah, you show up and you be funny, and I do all the work, okay?
Uh-huh. Alright, fine, I'll start DMing. What's up, guys?
Please, I would love to be a player.
I know. I'm working on it.
I would love to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Well, maybe not. Honestly, I'm so mad at D&D right now, but whatever.
What did they do this time?
They're just in the news because Larian isn't producing any DLCs or Baldur's Gate 4.
Yeah. Because
they're like, hey, Watsy, you fired everyone we worked with, so we kind of don't want to work with you anymore.
Oh. Didn't know. Yeah.
Larian Sue is just kind of like, nah, we're good. We're done. Before we get into the podcast today, before we talk about the end of the Hero of Ages and some tears that were shed, we have to say that this podcast is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com. Misty Mountain Gaming is a group of eclectic adventurers who delve deep into the mountains of North America and beyond to dig up the ancient Dise, a form of polyhedric rock formation that was very important to the ancient ancestors of humanity. And they bring those forth and put them on a website that you may purchase them and use them as the accoutrement necessary for your TTRPG games.
Wow.
MistyMountainGaming.com is a place where you can buy stones in shapes. Isn't that cool? Use code nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order. And remember to tell them that we sent you there. But you can't. Just use our code to tell them that.
Yeah. If you use our code, it lets them know, and that is a good thing.
Because we get paid.
More book clubs.
Yeah, we do quite love you, Miss Mountain Gaming. Thank you for being a long-term sponsor of the show. It's really cool.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised you're still here.
I check my phone every morning, assuming I'm getting an email that says, "Don't ever keep my wife's name out of your mouth."
Who's the wife?
I was just quoting William Smith.
The you know
William.
William. Mm-hmm. Yep, different William.
Jordan Chen.
Thank
you so much for that super chat. For replacing all the tissues that you used to mop up your tears this week.
Thank you.
I wish that I had gotten up and used tissues, but I used my sleeve because I'm disgusting and I was very comfortable on the couch. Also, love myself some Cradle, but too many good series out there in general. There's
too many good books, guys. This is the problem. This is why we need more book club, because there's too many gosh darn good books. Linus, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for the hugs. I hope you watched the Madam Web pitch meeting.
Have not yet seen the Madam Web pitch meeting, but I will have to go watch that because that movie is wild.
Wild.
We learned that CPR changed.
You know what? If Madam Web does one thing for the world, and it's that like letting us old farts know that like CPR technique is different, Madam Web will have a net positive on this world.
I'm not gonna lie. I've read the literature. I've dived in. Don't care. I'm still doing rescue breaths. I think that there's a risk of transmuting disease through rescue breaths.
Transmitting.
What did I say?
Transmuting.
Sure.
Transmutation.
The risk of transmitting disease through rescue breaths is a risk, but if there's a marginally better chance of me, I don't know.
Yeah, but also I learned that like if the person has like drowned and there is potentially water in their lungs, which like, I mean, never mind, but is important for the movie.
Yeah.
Then you do want to do the rescue breaths.
Yeah.
So that the water comes out of their lungs. Anyways.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, we were not
learning experience.
We were wrong, but we weren't wrong.
But we weren't actually wrong.
Because in 2003, CPR works the way that I learned it, because I learned it around 2003. Yeah. And so yeah, Madam Web is a mess.
If you don't want to watch Madam Web, which I cannot recommend, just go watch our reaction to it.
Don't do that. Our reaction is almost as long as the actual movie. If you don't want to interact with... Yeah, it's an hour and a half.
But we talk after, that's why.
Yeah, but it's still an hour and a half.
I don't know. I still think time better spent when you get to laugh along with friends.
All right. Blue brings up the fireworks. We do need to mention there is a hilarious fireworks breaking stone moment in that movie. Yes. That I felt personally attacked by.
Yeah, which just proves that we were right and you were wrong. I'm so sorry.
Sonambular on Twitch says, good afternoon from Spain.
Hello
from Spain.
Canada.
I wish I was in Spain right now.
It sounds nice. It's freaking snowing outside again, and I am not okay.
It's why I want to be anywhere but here. But let's dive into the Hero of Ages. Clarus, you've now finished the Era 1 trilogy of Mistborn.
I have. Have you?
Yeah. As evidenced by the 2 different weeping videos we posted in the Discord this week. You much earlier in the week. Yeah. I needed to finish Campaign 2 of Critical Role before I finished the book, which was a 1-2 punch. Finishing Campaign 2 on Wednesday and then finishing this on Thursday. That felt a little bit like I was being mean to myself. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the Hero of Ages?
Are a masochist. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't get got that often.
No.
Especially in books. But
you haven't read The Fault in Our Stars.
No. But I got real good. It's a story that you can really tell was fleshed out from page 1. Yeah. You know, Brandon Sanderson knew where it was going, and I think he just told a beautiful story, and I was, oh god, I was losing it. I was sitting upstairs listening for you downstairs reading to see if I could hear when you were losing it a little bit, and that's why I came down.
Oh, I know. Yeah, as soon as I started crying, Clarus came down and got on this circular green couch we had and watched me read the end of the book.
The problem was you were crying, and then I started reading along with you. And it was one of the most moments, and so I started crying a little bit, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, but before we get into why we cried, let's get into where we started from. That would be chapter 34. We're in part 5, The Broken Skies, and we start with Tensoon having a conversation. Or actually, no, we start with Mark. Nope, I'm on the wrong part of my notes. Sorry.
We need part 5.
Yeah, it was part 3. I'm dyslexic. Chapter 59.
There we go.
Trust.
Numbers.
We start with Tensoon, and he reaches Urto and finds out that Lestabornis is still alive.
Yep. Yep. I read this, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's like I was going to say it's the only fake out in this trilogy, but it's actually kind of not, because Marsh.
That wasn't a fake out, though.
Well, that's why I was like,
that was a fake out for the audience, but it wasn't even a fake out for the audience. The characters were just wrong about the corpse that they found.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like that wasn't like we saw Marsh die and then he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
I don't mind this because of where it goes. Because Lestabornis does not become a like pivotal physical character in the rest of the series, I was fine with it. Yeah. When they were first like, he's fine, I was like, if Lestabornis is up and fighting in the final battle of whatever this is, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Fair.
And he isn't.
Yeah.
Right? His participation in it is that he is burnt to shit, right? Yeah. He's a crispy boy, and he writes a little bit of a note on a piece of metal, and that's it.
It was a Krispy Kreme.
And so, yeah, no, I think that because of the way that it plays out, and the fact that his burns really do impede him from participating in the rest of the book, I didn't mind it that much at first. It was just the initial reading of it. It made me put the book down for like 2 days.
Well, because his death.
I cried for Lestabornis' death. Yeah.
It was impactful, and he's a really well done character.
And the way that it's revealed in the chapter is like, oh yeah, Lestabornis is definitely alive, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, and
he's not even a scene that he's in. It's just it's like a throwaway line at the beginning. Let me even pull it up, because it is the most like.
Here's the thing, though. Someone was like, well, like, this is why breaking up reading sections isn't, like, ideal, because, if you had just kept going, it's right there. But I do think that, like, the reveal being in the middle of like, literally, like, a section break, like, a different part. It is part 5. I think that a lot of people would be like, oh, it's like late, I have to go to bed, it's a natural place to stop.
So in my copy it's page 2305, because my Kindle version is the Mistborn trilogy, so it's all 3 books in one. It just like cuts. It's like there's like literally a line break, and then it starts a new section of the chapter with Spook barely having survived the ordeal, said the terraceman, I thought it was best to let Lord Breeze take command. Like, that's all we get for a minute.
Yep.
And I was like...
And you're like, what? Literally, what? Like,
all right, fine, whatever.
Yeah. It was...
It totally makes sense. I think that I've just been burned lately by fake-out deaths in a way. Like, I think
with One Piece right now, you're like, oh.
Yeah, with where I'm at in One Piece, and that being kind of like my biggest issue with the arc of One Piece I'm in right now on my reaction channel for that.
Yeah.
And with Wheel of Time and Attack on Titan, and like a lot of the stuff that we've covered on this channel, I feel like I've become really sensitive to it because we have covered so much lately that I think does it really poorly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I think that I was bringing in that outside feeling of some of the other properties that I think do not handle it well, and bringing it into a property that it's not bad here. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. I think it's actually, it is well handled, and like there is a lot, like, it doesn't happen like continuously through the series, right?
Yeah.
Like it is kind of like a one-time thing, and because of that, like I don't feel like the moment of his like sacrifice has less impact.
No.
Right? Like he doesn't think he's gonna survive.
Well, we'll get to the ending, but the way that he is healed absolutely works for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with it because it's God shit, and like
it's God shit.
What am I gonna be like? No, God doesn't have the power to. Like, if Sazed's up there being like, I'm going to remove all of the symbiotic ash-eating bacteria, which he doesn't bring up. Which means that there's a lot of ash-eating bacteria still on that planet.
That's, like, what, gonna, like, die, or...
I don't know,
like,
or it's gonna mutate and start eating something else. Maybe that's where necrotizing fasciitis comes from.
No, that's how The Last of Us starts, actually.
Era 2 is just a zombie series?
Yeah. So the ash-eating bacteria is like, wow, well, there's no ash. So, like...
So they start eating brains.
Well, you know, they start with, like they infect, like, some, like, mushrooms and, like, some, like, lesser, like, high-functioning beings, right? They're like, oh, yeah, moss. We can take control of that. And then it just gets out of fucking hand, you know? Because it was made by God, right?
Yeah.
The poor bacteria. The bacteria is like, wait, no. Like, this is the worst ending possible.
So, Breeze is running Urto, which feels fitting for Breeze. He gets to be the nobleman he's always been, but pretended not to be.
Sorry, chat's like, wow, I can't believe they guessed it. I'm sorry.
And so Tensoon is like, yo, I need to speak to Vin. And Seizet's like, your princess is in another castle, my dang dude. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Why does this keep happening?
Tensoon is just running around like crazy. Also, I love that Tensoon's just like, I can be a horse. I can be a big beefy horse.
I can mix the muscles of a boar with a horse. Honestly, the most impressive thing is that at this point in the, like, calamity...
Horror.
The most impressive point is that at this point in this, like, global calamity, they still have a boar with enough meat on it to change the musculature of a horse.
No. The meat comes from Tensoon. Like the muscle comes from Tensoon. Tensoon can, like, understand how to arrange his, like,
No. He absorbs
jelly.
the muscles of the boar and adds them to the muscles of the horse to make it stronger. That's why he needed both animals.
Oh, I thought musculature came from the Khandra because when he gets acided away, he's like, oh, I'm like kind of like a skinny human because like I don't have enough of my flesh.
No. He has to get that flesh from other beings. He can't create flesh himself. That's why he gets the boar and the horse.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, even a small boar would be like pretty beefy.
Not if it's been starving for the past few months like all these humans have. This is like their like prize boar that they've apparently been fattening up for their final meal.
There's that one farmer who's like, my pig has won every ribbon in the contests.
This ain't a meat pig. This is a
prize pig.
This is a pageant pig. Pig, what is your special ability?
War pig.
So Tensoon is like, I gotta go speak to that hero of ages. I gotta go do end of the world shit. And then he's like, I would have thought Seized would give a shit about that, and he doesn't. That is strange.
Concerning. Very strange.
Chapter 60. Vin is like, you know what? He expects me to try to escape, so fuck it. Let's try and escape. And so as soon as she's let out of her cell for the first time, she starts just beating the shit out of people. And at a sensible 4'8", when like 105 pounds when dripping wet, she absolutely demolishes 3 grown men without her
without any
medals.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, like, what the fuck was Ham's training regiment? I don't think we got into this enough.
I know. I want to see the like Mulan training montage for Vin with like not being able to like burn pewter. Because goddamn. Because
these are haze killers. Like, these aren't, like, random guys in Fadrix. These are trained soldiers.
Maybe because they're haze killers, they're trained to fight allomantic powers. But because she didn't have allomantic powers, they're like, we don't know how to fight normal people.
Yeah, but if you're trained to fight someone who's using pewter...
Yeah.
Then it's just fighting someone who's weaker and slower.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a little bit... I thought she was going to get, like, the first guy, but she takes out 3, and I was like, Ham, what the fuck did you teach this girl?
I think she caught them off guard, you know?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, shit.
Definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
But she gets to the... She gets out of her shackles by being tiny, and she manages to get out a little bit, but there's, like, 20 more guards. They take her to Yeoman, and all of this was a play... so that he would lower his guard by assuming that she did the thing that he wanted her to do. That he assumed that she was going to do.
Yeah. She just kind of, like, poking the bear in a sense.
She's like doing big brain shit. She thinks.
I don't know. I think Vin is pretty big brain.
Interesting. I don't.
How would you realize how to combat ATM if you weren't like incredibly intuitive?
I don't think intuitive is big brain. Like,
you think that like Ellen's like books is like big brain.
Yeah, I think when I use the term big brain, I mean like the pulling out and seeing the larger picture and being able to move small pieces to influence the larger picture. And I and this isn't a negative on Vin.
Yeah.
I don't think that is Vin's strength.
Yeah, I don't think Vin may not be as good at chess. But yes. she has that like intuition and like wisdom, if you want to use like D&D terms.
I think Vin is very good when she is when there is one problem in front of her that she needs to solve.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to
being 5 moves ahead.
Trying to solve that one problem in a way that solves 5 other problems.
Right.
Which I think is what Sazed is good at, which is why I think that he is so good at taking over the power at the end of this book. Because he looks at things from a much larger perspective. Whereas I think that what Vin's so good at, and what she shows us over and over and over again, is that in moments where there is a singular thing that needs to be done, she can instinctually figure out what that one thing is.
She like flares instinct.
Now, oftentimes, the way that she solves those problems and the way that Ruin manipulates her is because she doesn't look at what the consequences of that will be on the sides. She only looks at what the next direct consequence forward is.
Yeah.
And I think that it is in many ways her flaw, and that if she was alone on her team, she would be a very flawed team, right? But that's
why it's not a team.
Elend and Sazed round out the looking at what the like spider webbing of her actions are and dealing with the consequences of those, I think better than Vin does. Vin is like, if you give her a jigsaw puzzle, she will fucking solve the shit out of it. Right? She'll put those pieces in the right spot. But if you give her like a 3-dimensional puzzle, I think that she would solve it one piece at a time and maybe slow herself down by not realizing how those pieces interact with one another.
I feel like maybe that's why I like relate to Vin so hard.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not like, I don't like plan ahead.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm good at tackling what's immediately in front of me.
Yeah, and like, I don't know that Elend is great at that, right? I think that sometimes Elend misses what's right in front of him because he's trying to plan so far.
Kelsier was the planner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I think that it's how they balance each other. I think that if Elend had been more like Vin, Elend would have taken more care with the government in Luthadel in book 2, for instance.
Yeah.
But he forgets about this thing that's right in front of him because he is trying to do the 15 things that are around it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that that's how the two of them played well as a couple and as a like leadership team, is that Elend could literally go, I'm giving you this problem. You like single problems. Go solve this. I'll handle all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Let me worry about the pawns and the bishops and the rooks and the knights.
You handle
You go
the king.
be the queen.
Yeah.
And you go take the king, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that it's I love their pairing because of the way that they play off of each other and that they don't have the same strength at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it more fun to read and like figure out how they solve stuff.
I think that this is actually an interesting part of it too, though. Once Ruin comes into this conversation with Yeoman, right? Once it's the 3 of them in these scenes, Vin almost forgets about Yeoman. You know what I mean? Like Vin stops trying to escape. Vin forgets about Yeoman's place in all of this a little bit and is so focused on figuring out Ruin.
Yeah.
Because that is the like her tunnel vision goes from Yeoman and escape to, oh, I have to figure out this guy.
Yeah.
And granted, that works out, but I just find it really fascinating the way that her brain works.
Yeah. Oh no, me too. I love it. I think it's written really well and not like written like a flaw, just like written as like a human being, if that makes sense.
For sure. Yeah, so we get
I love the moment where she's like, if you think that the Lord Ruler is alive, you can't try me for murder. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck.
When she's like, oh, I'm safe.
Yeah, you can't do anything to me.
A, you think that he's alive, so I can't be a murderer. And B, you believe that he brought us together, which means that you think there's a reason I'm here.
Yep.
Which is that is a brilliant strategy.
Oh, it's great. This part 5 just like kicks off like it's running head first to the end, and I was here for it. That's why I finished so early, because I was like, I just want to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we also get a really interesting conversation in this section about Vin and Yeoman discussing why she feels the way she does about her place within the Church of the Survivor, and how she doesn't really view herself that way. And Ruin even steps in and is like, why don't you want to be that? And I think it is really interesting because Vin is like, I'm not big brain religious person, and she does become a god by the end of the book.
Yep.
She's like, no, I don't want people to worship me, but hold up, let me go become god real quick.
Yep.
Chapter 61. Elend gets back to Fadrex with his army of Colossus, and he's like, yo, Ham, I know Vin is alive, and I just figured out why. Those 1,000 Colossus over there would have freaked the fuck out if she died. So we're good, we're Gucci. And Hammond is like, no, we're not, because the Luthadel fell. The Central Dominance is fucked, and we don't know what happened to Demu and his people.
Yep, everything is very bad.
Yeah, there's earthquakes, there's lava, and at this point I was like, how the fuck do you even solve this?
I reading this book, I was like, I don't know what the fuck the end is going to be.
It's interesting because I really, really believed that they were going to find the third god and it was going to be creation.
Oh.
And that we were going to find out that Ruin and Preservation locked away creation.
Here's the thing. I think that because they can only create when they're together, I think that Sazed became creation.
Yeah, so I was kind of right in that is what happened.
No,
it just did not at all happen. I thought there were going to be 3 powers. I thought, and because you kind of put it in my head last week when you were like, yeah, well, there's Hemalurgy, Ferrochemy, and Allomancy.
Yeah,
and
why
I was
couldn't there be 3 gods?
Oh, why wouldn't there? Yeah, a third god makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when we got to an interesting place where there's a god that is 2 powers and a person. So it is a weird, in a weird
Trio.
way, we got...
It's a throuple.
Well, but we got kind of to the Holy Trinity, weirdly, of, Sazed is Jesus, Ruin is the Holy Ghost, and Preservation is the Father.
No, the Lord Ruler is Father.
No, I'm not making a joke. I'm being serious.
Yeah, I was making a joke.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm trying to make a point here. So, we weirdly got to a Catholic version of Christianity in the way that we got to the idea of the Trinity and, the way that God now works, being 3 things.
Yeah.
The Sazed as sort of this, Jesus character coming from Earth, and then... Anyway.
So the Colossus are gonna surprise attack in the morning.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not good. Chapter 62. Yes. Lesterbornus is alive. He's very crispy, but he's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Sazed is Sazed has this theory that Lesterbornus can burn pewter.
Yeah.
And so, gives it to him, but it doesn't do anything because we know that the spike is out.
God.
So, yeah. If that had lingered, I would have been I am worried. Well, yeah, I mean, I still am, was kind of worried because I was he's still burned. Even if he is alive right now, there is a chance that he, wouldn't wake up from that.
Oh, no.
Right?
I mean, the chances of him dying of infection are so high, especially at this period of time. The chances of him surviving long term are very, very low.
Yeah.
Which is why Sazed needs to heal him. Honestly, the fact that he ever walks again at this book is kind of crazy, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, the fact that he survives is it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like how it comes into play at the end. I like how it all ties together. I get that, we've been burned with, the whole, fake out death thing, and I was a little bit worried, but I need to remember to trust Brandy Sandy,
Brandy Sandy.
Brandy Sandy. You blessed us. Sazed's like, I got a couple more religions to go through.
Yeah.
Only a few left. This is not looking good. I love that he also has favorites.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, like putting off the ones that he likes the best because he's worried that they're not gonna have any truth to them.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, right? Because I really wondered what part this was going to play in the book. Mm-hmm. And I think the value of the ongoing conversation of Sazed and his religions and the way that it ties in at the very end, like, really makes it all so worth it. Because kind of the whole book, I was like, where is this going? Like, why... Because what I didn't think was going to happen was that he was going to find one. You know what I mean? So it's like this, because there's no such thing as a faith that is perfect, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that this is definitely a little bit of Brandon Sanderson's Mormonism peeking through in this book, right? There is sort of a... like, I could never have written Mistborn. Yeah. Because... for a lot of reasons. I'm not saying that I'm anywhere near the author that Brandon Sanderson is. But one of the reasons is that I would never write about faith in this way because I don't have faith. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's not something that I would attribute to the universe. Yeah. And so this deep, like, his ability to write about this examination of faith, it could only really come from someone who has it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's might be one of the reasons why I love it so much. Because I think that it's really well done, but I also think that it's fascinating to me as someone who is not religious, who doesn't have that kind of faith, and like can see the beauty in it from the authors and also these characters' perspective, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that the interesting thing about the way faith is analyzed in these books is that it... like wholesale leaves out the negatives of the faith, and in his examinations of faith, it paints faith by a pretty positive brush. Sure. In a way that, other than the Lord Ruler, obviously, which is treated as, but even that, like, there's not really a lot of negatives in the faith itself.
Well, that's actually I don't know if I will agree with that, because the Lord Ruler's like. The Lord Ruler literally wiped out any other religion, any other, like, ideas, like, became the be-all, end-all. And I think that, obviously without... In a similar way that, like, you know, missionaries and or, like, people with violent intent would travel to forcefully convert people to whatever religion they were preaching.
Yeah, but the book excuses that.
The one line that got me was like, oh, the Lord Ruler was a good guy. And I was like, he was not.
Well, no, but he was.
No, he was not.
No, he was. But and this is what the book... and this
he
is how
made slaves.
No. But this is my point. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
He didn't. Right? The book excuses all of the negatives of the Lord Ruler's faith because none of them were the Lord Ruler's fault. They were all just ruin and acting through people, right? The priests of the Lord Ruler's church are inquisitors who are all hemorrhagically spiked by ruin, and the Lord Ruler was hemorrhagically spiked by ruin, right? And so in the way that this book tries to bring up the same issue with faith that Christians and people of any faith do, which is that there are evil things within faiths. Yeah. That make people bad, but that people are never bad on their own, right? And one of the things about this series that I think at the end is a little bit too soft for me is that it tries to be like, well, the Lord Ruler was a good man who was hemorrhagically spiked by ruin, which made him evil. Which is very like Adam and Eve were great people until the devil came in the form of a snake and made them eat the apple that made them piss off God, right? The Bible and the Quran, all of these books are filled with it was a good man who was influenced by the devil. And that the devil is the creation of evil. And in this story, like, you literally have the most evil characters are all kind of absolved by the book being like, and this is why Zane was evil, was because he was hemorrhagically spiked, and Vin's mom was evil because of ruin. Like, okay, there are the only villain who is villainous of their own sanity is Straff at the end of this whole series.
Sure, Straff was an asshole. But the Lord Ruler was not hemalurgically spiked because he discovered hemalurgy when he took the power.
He didn't discover hemalurgy. Ruin taught him hemalurgy so that he would do his bidding.
Yes, but before he takes the power, he he murders poor Alendi, which you can decide whether or not that's justifiable for yourself. Mm-hmm. But he takes this power. He takes the power of God and decides, I'm going to make noble people and slaves. Like, he decided that when he held that power for those few brief moments.
But the book says that Ruin influenced him to do those things. The book that we read says that he was influenced by Ruin in those decisions.
So, but how did Ruin influence him before he had learned of hemalurgy?
Because hemalurgy predates the Lord Ruler's knowledge of it.
Yeah, but there's no evidence that Rashek was being influenced
except the book saying that he was being influenced by him. I don't know if he was spiked at the time, but the book says that Ruin influenced Rashek into those decisions. So the book is the evidence. It's the only evidence I got, right?
I mean, yeah, the book doesn't really say why or how though. So I'm kind of I don't believe you. Because Sazed is oh no, he was just a good guy and Ruin kind of fucked him over. But in the beginning,
yeah, that is the evidence that I'm talking about. Is Sazed being and Ruin.
Yeah, but it doesn't say how Ruin was able to influence him to make slaves. Because it says that Ruin's influence would grow over time, right? The more that he was there and the larger the spike, the more influence he had over you. And so for me, Rashek still doesn't seem like a very good person.
But we never met Rashek before Ruin influenced him.
No, we only have the evidence of his actions, which are that he made the Ska into slaves.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wish that the book was more clear that Rashek was either good or evil. But the book wants us to take away that Ruin influenced all of this.
Yeah.
And made it happen. The book says that. You can have I don't know how to respond to what you're saying. Because the book says that he was influenced by Ruin. And so I don't know why or how. Well, I mean, I know why. I know what Ruin wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know how Ruin did it, because we weren't there, and we're not really shown those scenes. Mm-hmm. But he...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you're...
So I'm trying to find a moment, because James Ross said Sazed does not say he was a good guy, and he actually does.
Oh, no, he fully does. I agree with Cosmere.
Yeah, he definitely is Rashek was actually a good guy, and I was what?
But my problem is that Sazed is finishing this book, right? Mm-hmm. That Sazed writes. He writes while he has the power of God, right? All of the story, all of the epigraph mm-hmm. of this entire novel is written in the moment where Sazed is God. And so if Sazed is God and can see, he can't see everything, right? But he can see Rashek at the moment of being preservation. He can only really see Rashek's moment of using the power. Uh-huh. If, as God, Sazed sees Rashek in that moment and says that he was a good man without Ruin's influence, then isn't that true?
Well,
why would you assume that that's not true?
Because Ruin can't read people's thoughts, so I don't see why Sazed would be able to.
Because it says in the book that he can. He
can read people's thoughts?
It says that he was able to know Rashek in that moment.
I thought he was understanding Rashek because he can see, the literal browser history of how the power was used.
But then I don't think that he was a good man makes any sense.
That's why I was confused. That's why I was wait, but I don't, that's why I was I don't know if I believe you. And I know there's other, Mistborn stuff, so, maybe this is something that is touched on, or maybe it's just something that is not 100% clear at the end, and the point is to have faith that Sazed knows what he's talking about.
Guys, she just read the part of the book where he says it's a good man. That Rashek was a good man. We're not, making shit up. Do we need to hold it up to the camera?
No, I didn't, find it, but I can
I thought
try.
You did.
You were yeah, no, he definitely says that. And I was yeah, no, I remember he says that. No, I think it's in one of the italicized portions.
Yeah, Chris Pilkington says he can read Rashek's thoughts while he used the power, not at any other moment.
Okay, interesting.
So if with the power, and this is my point about it softening all of the villains right at the end, right? Is it's like it is this religious interpretation that we see, right? And that we treat as ridiculous a lot of the time.
Sure.
When people are like, "Oh, the devil made me do it." And you go, "The devil didn't fucking make you do shit. You killed your child. Like, what are you talking about? The devil made you do it."
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
And we treat that as preposterous. Mm-hmm. Like that fucking like garbage person who left her child at home for 10 days. Yeah. Right? If that person was like, "Oh, well, the devil made me do it," we'd all be like, "The devil, no, you fucking did that." But in this, because we have fact that ruin is real.
Yeah.
Was Zane ever a bad person? Probably not, right?
Well, yeah, Zane is such an interesting case because not only was he being influenced by ruin, but he had to work for his actual like cunt father. Like Straff is one person who is actually just like a piece of shit.
Straff is the only like truly villainous character in the book.
Yeah. Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. I think maybe Sazed like trying to see the best in people is kind of what leads to that moment. When I read it, I was just kind of like, so that's all. I don't think there's like one, I don't think there's any like right. It's just like interesting how the end kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I find it more interesting. Yeah, there is one like evil character in Straff, but that most people are kind of just people and who are shaped either by circumstance. Well, actually most people are shaped by circumstance because even we learned that like Set is only like an asshole because like he is so scared. He has deep love for the people around him, like his daughter, but he is so scared that if he doesn't have like a hard exterior that people are gonna like use it against him. And I think that that's just so tragic, right? It makes the villains in the story or I mean, I don't even know if Set is really like a villain at that point, but it just makes all of the characters feel more like people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I find interesting, people bring it up that like everything we know about Rashek is that he was angry and vengeful. Being angry and vengeful doesn't make you evil. I want to be clear. You can be very vengeful and be the most righteous human being on the planet. But also, we don't know that any of that's true because we don't have any first-hand accounts of Rashek.
Well,
we only get paper, and
the metal discs.
But those are that's Rashek talking. That's his own words. You can't learn about people from his own words.
Unless that was written in paper, but I thought that was also written in metal. His the Holy First Witness starts with a K. Quan, thank you. Quan is like, that Rashek dude. He's very, very upset about all of this stuff, and so I know that he'll kill Alendi if he has to. That, like, to me, that doesn't really speak positively on someone's character, but I can't remember if that was written in metal or paper. So
I don't view that as being a bad person.
As someone who's like willing to commit murder because he doesn't like this race of people.
Because they're oppressing you. Yeah, I don't inherently think that's evil.
The Terracemen aren't oppressed.
Yeah, they are. The Kelenium oppressed the Terrace in the previous age. That's why he's so upset that it's a Kelenium that is the supposed hero of ages.
I thought he was just mad that it was an outsider who wasn't one of them.
No, I'm pretty sure the Rashek was angry about the oppression of the Terrace people. Yeah.
Okay, I don't. Okay,
Rashek's,
I don't remember
Alendi's people were oppressing the Terrace, which is why he was angry and vengeful. Which is why I say that's not evil, right?
Okay.
Like I don't think that it is evil to fight the oppression of your people.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that if anyone is surprised that I say that, you don't know me very well.
Gordon Chen, thank you so much for that super chat. In my opinion, Rashek was influenced, but that doesn't fully absolve his decisions. He tried to do good, but ultimately fucked up to do too much good. Says his opinion, just his opinion. Yeah, I think that it being kind of more open-ended and not defined fact makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting cold hard facts about Elendil. We're getting Sazed's opinion on him. And I think that, that then says something about Sazed as opposed to just, here is, factual evidence. And I do like what that says about Sazed. I think that Sazed wants to be a forgiving, good person, right? If anyone was to have the power of ruin and preservation, I think Sazed's a pretty darn good choice,
Yeah, Scavani, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat.
I sleep, watch later.
We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's so tough, right? Because you get to the point where, at what point is anything that we've read about Rashek true, other than what Quan wrote in Metal, right?
Even that is opinions of people, so.
Yeah, but
because the logbook they wrote down on paper.
Yeah.
And distributed, so.
So, if
so
everything
wild.
else, was Rashek ever bad before he talked to Ruin in the Well of Ascension? We don't know.
Good question.
I mean, he killed Alendi, but who knows why, right? If you put me in a position where they're like, hey, Alendi's gonna go in there and release the devil on the world, and earthquakes will start happening, killing everybody, ash will dot out the sky, and lava flows will murder every single person that you know. The only way to stop it is for you to kill Alendi, or everybody you know and love is dead, and the world is going to come to an end. What are you going to do, nerdy? I'm like, fuck. All right, Alendi, let's go out back. We got to have a look, just a short conversation between you and my biceps. Just a little shh.
Deji, thank you so much for that super chat.
I haven't read this yet. You are in the wrong part of the stream then.
This is the end. Get out so you don't get spoiled. But thank you so much for that super chat.
You love the Shogun reactions? I love Shogun.
So freaking good.
Shogun is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Michael S. Step, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you as well for a super chat.
And AMV fan, thank you for that super chat. Lord Ruler was a good person at the beginning, but not at the end. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. It is just one of those very it's one of those very religious ideas, in my opinion, that I'm less swayed by because I don't believe, but that I think that somebody I think that somebody who is more religious would definitely have a different reading of the situation than I would.
Yeah, for sure. But again, definitely why I find this so interesting is that like you said, you could never have written this, I could never have written this. This is a perspective that I could never have come up with, and I love that, and I love how it's portrayed in this beautiful packaging.
I mean I even struggle with, because in almost every fantasy TTRPG game there is a lot of gods, and I struggle with them. Because my lack of faith in real life. I either humanize them too much or I make them too distant. And that sweet middle ground that other people play with that I just can't get to because I just don't have that in me.
Yeah.
And it creates, I like that different art creates different things, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
All right, we need to keep moving. Thank you for joining.
Kung Pao Sandwich. Welcome to the Nerd Table.
Thank you for joining the Narcs. Where were we? Tensoon is saying goodbye to Breeze and is tell the announcer that I said goodbye. And Sazed was filled with this glorious feeling as a mic descended from the ceiling, and he goes, let's get ready to rumble!
Yep. And then Sazed realizes that the Kandra were terrorist men.
He's like, what did you just say?
Wait a second.
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
And I love that Tensoon is I can't believe you waited this fucking long. I've been here for a week, my dude. Get it together.
Yeah, and so the Mist Wraiths were once the Terrace ferrochemists that were turned into soulless. This is wild.
I know.
So, out of a fear that Allomancy would be bred into the ferrochemists and they would match his power ability,
yes,
the Lord Ruler turned to all of his friends and was like, hey, I need you to
give up your sentience,
be able to reproduce.
Pretty much.
Kung Pao Sandwich, thank you so much for those 5 gifted members.
Thank you so much. Hell yeah.
Yeah, have you ever wanted to, disincorporate your friends into ghosts that consume the bones and flesh of anything they run across so that you can live forever?
Well, technically the ones that were actually his friends didn't get discombobulated. But
they still got disincorporated. They still turned into, like, fleshy goo.
No, they're the first generation. So I thought that they just lived them for a while, and every other terrorist person got turned into mist-wraiths. Isn't that it? The first generation. The first generation never lost their cognitive ability. They were always Kandra.
Yeah, but they still got their bodies turned into fleshy goo.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just mean that they weren't, like, mentally...
No. I only meant that their bodies got turned into fleshy goo.
My misunderstanding. Fabu, thank you for that super chat.
Nerdy got that dog in him, but not that god. Also, why are you so freaking short, Clarus? Sorry, the devil made me say that. Very funny.
What are you talking about? We are eye level.
Do you think that... So, here's the thing. Do you think that the Lord Ruler went and hung out with his old friends ever?
I mean, yeah, because they gave him the contract, they brought contracts to him.
What?
They brought him contracts. They're like, this is the first contract, and this is the subsequent contract.
No. I don't mean did they, like, have business meetings. I don't care. Yeah, they fucking did work. I get that they, like, worked together. Did they ever go hang out? Did he ever, like, go play Go with them or something? You know?
No, he was too busy making slaves. And, euthanizing the terrorist people? Is that the word for it?
Kind of. Not really, but yeah.
No, euthanizing is... No, what is it when you take away their reproductive ability?
Castrating?
Yes, but that's not the word I'm thinking of. Anyways, yeah.
So what he did here, though, because he only did it to the boys.
But, like, could you imagine if Rashek went to his old buddies and was like, yeah, so, I did turn all the terrorist people into mist-wraiths, so, like, that's cool, but...
Not all the terrorist people, just the feruchemists.
Sorry, all the feruchemists into, mist-wraiths, but the rest of our people, the rest of the terrorist people, I'm actually gonna cut their balls off.
Yeah. That's so wild.
Eugenics is the word. Thank you. But that's, he's not eugenicizing. That's not, but yes.
He's
that
castrating.
Is what was in my brain. Yeah. Yeah, see, and that's the thing is, I don't think that Rashek could have, like, faced his friends and been like, yeah, no, the terrorist people...
I don't know, you don't think after, like, 600 years, you just kind of get used to it? That's dark, but, like, it's something that I don't think we're ever really capable of understanding as humans because our lifespans are so limited in the span of, progress and galactic momentum. And so I do wonder, like, after 600 years, I mean, I would be like, just fucking kill me. But...
seems like way too long.
Well, and it's one of my favorite scenes in True Blood. Without spoiling, but there is a vampire in True Blood at one point who's just like, guys, I'm 400.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go die.
Yeah. Like,
and everyone is like, what do you mean? Like, what? There's so much to live for. And he's like, not really. I'm 400.
I've done it all. Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite scenes in that whole show because I'm like, yeah, like at a certain point, what I would be like, guys, I'm good.
Well, here's the thing, though.
I don't have a desire to make it past, like, 80, honestly.
Here's the thing. I think the difference with Rashek and what does make him interesting is that he believes that he is the only thing holding Ruin at bay.
No, I understand why Rashek's still alive.
Yeah.
But for the other Kandra who are just sitting in a fucking alcove doing dick all day.
Fair.
Like, at the point where my body starts to grow mold... and I become a weird, mossy, moldy collection of old muscles, let me die.
Yeah.
Give me a fun death. Come up with a, something crazy, and I'm good.
Just like that last, driving off a cliff, get that adrenaline.
Yeah, just anything. Because, there's just a point. There's a point where it's like, why am I still here? What am I... There's nothing more to learn. If you're 400 and you don't know how to play every instrument humankind has ever invented, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing with your time?
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a vampire and you don't sleep and you get an extra 8 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with your life?
You know how much I could achieve if I didn't have to sleep?
It's just, it is one of those things I think about a lot whenever people invent, like, this character's 1,000. And I'm like, why are they not just miserable?
Old. Well, a lot of times they are.
Well, and the Lord Ruler, the one thing I think the Lord Ruler nails in the writing, or that Brandon Sanderson nailed in the writing of him, is that, like, he doesn't seem, like, pleased about anything. He just seems like he's barely hanging on to what needs to be done and not like he doesn't seem phased or interested.
Yeah. Bogdan Danbog, thank you for that super chat. Preservation and ruin sitting in a tree. KISS science. Speculation not confirmed. Oh,
people are like, I can sustain myself with books. Y'all, there's a point. There's just a point where, oh, it's that time.
I know, it's early.
We haven't even hit the hour mark. Oh shit, guys, Claros is peeing before we hit the 1 hour mark. What is the show today? Yeah. All right. Tensoon is like, I'm gonna take you to my people. Let me turn into a horse boar and hop on. Chapter 63. Vin and Ruin are just kind of chatting. They're just, they're catching up, getting to know each other a little bit. And Vin is like, hey, guards, I would like to reveal some information to Yeoman. You have to check out the audiobook for this chapter. Michael Kramer's host voice for Tensoon is so off the cuff and it killed me. Oh, I can't wait for that. I want to see a Khandra centaur. That might be how they do it in the live action, to have like a face talking, is to just have Tensoon be a centaur, which would be rad. Yeah, Tensoon, because the Khandra won't exist in Era 2, right? Like, they're all dead, so we'll never get to see them play with, like, mixing things together. Because Khandra can use fake bones, right? They could use very hollowed out bones and fly. They could essentially create bird bones, but, like, human size, and they would be able to fly, which is really cool. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't technically be able to, but I don't really. It's probably not just the bones that allow birds to fly, but cool idea. So then we get into Vin is like, Yeoman, I got info for you, and she's like, I would like for you. She realizes that he's an ATM misting, which will not come back at all in this book and is not relevant whatsoever.
Definitely not important.
Definitely not important. And she's like, I need you to show me maps. And he's like, why would I do that? You need to prove to me that you're not just a liar, pants on fire. And she's like, I will tell you how I control Kolos. And she does. And he's like, all right, let's look at some maps together. And
they're trading
they realize that all of the caches are near intense metal deposits. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, fuck. Ruin can't see metal. So I can hide my caches behind shit he cannot see.
Yeah, I wonder what the, density of metal, minerals has to be to, shield Ruin's vision. Because obviously he can't see, solid metal.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of is it just that there's enough big, bright, shiny lights around it that the shiny light, hides the caverns?
I have no idea.
All right. I'd buy it. I'm just curious, how, but yeah.
The Ruin can't see metal thing is a little bit nebulous to me in a, I'm letting go of my trying to understand that because it is such a on the level of gods thing that I'm never going to fully understand this because I don't really know what it means for Ruin to be able to see anything. So I don't know what it means for him to not be able to see.
Interesting.
Because if Ruin can hear conversations,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Everything gets super messy from that point on.
I mean, yeah, Ruin can witness things like a person, but he can't read your mind.
But so they build a metal room to hide stuff in, right? But so does Ruin have to get into a room to see what's inside of that room?
Well, because Vin does go into one of the caches, which is where she sees Ruin as Reen.
Yes.
So he can definitely get
but she
in
is
there.
Spiked. So does being hemologically spiked allow him past the metal? This is my point. This is where it gets like. This is where if you start to break it down too much.
Yeah, like shouldn't Vin have been hidden?
Yes.
Because she was in a room lined with metal.
Yes. If the caches are hidden from Ruin, shouldn't she not have been able to speak to Ruin inside one of the caches? That is the question. That is kind of the point I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
Is like if you break it down too much, it gets into the like. But what about the space between the metal walls? Why can't Ruin get into there? What about metal walls stops Ruin from being inside the walls?
Here's the thing. I don't think that it stops him actually from like being able to be there. It just stops him from being able to like see it. Like if Ruin is looking at the continent,
Mm-hmm.
there's like big shiny lights where like the high concentration of metal is. But like he can still like go there if he wants to. He just can't like be omnipotent and like see.
Okay, so if he can't see through metal, why can't he hear what's happening in those rooms? And this is where God's sight gets complicated, right? Because I don't think that he's actually seeing. It is that he is present. So something about a metal room stops him from being present. Because it's not like he's like looking down from the sky with a magnifying glass and the metal blinds him, right?
Yeah, he
is
can
physically
go
in
there.
the room.
Yeah.
He can appear as a person in the room.
Yeah.
And so it does.
We do know he can hear in there because him and Vin have conversations. So, yeah, interesting.
So then, yeah, that's where I can't break this down any further because I don't have any answers.
Yeah, it's also God shit.
It's God shit.
Yeah, it's God shit, and that's
I
fine.
buy it enough, and it was consistent enough in the books that it didn't take me out. Which is when
it never broke its own rules, and so that's what matters. Really.
Yeah, I because this is a thing that we went through with the Wheel of Time, where I was like, if these characters, if the Dark One is this powerful, why does the story happen, right? And so I was never able to justify the story of the Wheel of Time with the power level of what we were told but never shown this was capable of.
Yeah.
This series, I never was taken out in the same way.
Yeah.
And so this clicked and worked for me so much better.
Yes.
Because I felt like I understood the rules enough that I was able to be in Vin and Ellen's shoes.
Yeah.
Throughout the plot, and says that honestly, throughout this plot.
Yeah.
And their understanding was enough for my understanding for their actions to make sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep, 100%. I feel the same way.
Sometimes with big powers, it isn't about... And we get this a lot. We get this a lot on our Bahubali Part 2 reaction.
Oh, God.
Where people question why I question the logic of things. And why I only question the logic of things sometimes and not others. Mm-hmm. And the answer is, does it take me out of the story? Right?
Yeah.
I never question Spider-Man's powers because at the beginning of the movie, you go, this is Peter Parker. He was bit by a spider and he can do Spider-Man shit.
Yeah, and you're like,
and they spend
okay.
an act of the movie explaining the Spider-Man shit that Spider-Man can do, right? Conversely, in Bahubali, and I'm going to spoil one action moment from Bahubali Part 2. If that's a problem, I'm sorry. After an entire movie of having two different men have almost godlike powers, and only those two men, there is a shot where they start a combat by flinging the regular soldiers out of catapults over the walls while holding their shields in circles. And they crash, and they're all 100% fine. And the reason why it took me out is because people are like, well, you buy that this guy in the movie has superpowers. Why doesn't everybody else? And I'm like, because nobody else has had superpowers until this moment. And those same characters don't have superpowers after this moment. They only have superpowers for this visual because the director wanted a visual. Yeah. But it took me out of the movie.
Yes.
I am not
like,
questioning.
Wait, what? Have I misunderstood everything this whole time?
It would be like if in like Spider-Man, if Spider-Man has Spider-Man powers the whole time, and then in the third act, for one moment,
Mary Jane
Watson punches a car,
sure,
and the car stops, and then the next car hits Mary Jane and she dies. And you'd be like, wait, but she just punched. Why did she have powers for one moment? Right? And it's like, oh, well, I wanted a visual.
Yeah.
this series doesn't have that problem for me of me going, wait, but this has never worked that way before.
Yes.
In fact, I would say that this series, by the end of the series, you're like, oh, that's how that worked.
Yeah.
It ties back so much.
When I call it meticulous, that is what I mean. Like, everything, every moment, like, it is just so well plotted. And not just in terms of the actual plot, but in terms of, like, how the intricacies of how things work are all so consistent that I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever you say. Do I understand how that works? No. But I also don't understand how fucking gravity works, and I just accept that it is. You know, like...
What do you mean you don't understand how gravity works?
The concept of gravity is just wild to me.
Oh, fair. Yeah. No,
like,
that makes sense.
And same with, like, we talked about, like, color. The concept that color is not color, it is almost the opposite.
Yeah.
It, like, I don't understand it, but...
The color is the spectrums of light that the paint reflects, not, or, yeah.
Yeah, that, whatever it is, it reflects. Yeah, it just, I don't get it, but, like, I get it, because, sure, you say so, yeah.
My thing that makes me think that we live in a simulation, and that, like, that makes me think things can't exist is toilet paper.
Huh?
I genuinely... And it isn't actually toilet paper. I like to use toilet paper as a word to start it because I think that it's a funny joke. It's actually scale. I can't process intellectually how much toilet paper we make as a society.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And where it all goes. I cannot, for the life of me,
it dissolves.
Process how much toilet paper we consume.
Yeah.
To a point, I can't process water. Right? When you really think about how much water a city uses and how much water is just in the pipes of a city at any given moment because the pressure has to be constant or else it won't come out of the tap. It's not like you open the tap and then the water comes. The water is always there. So that we just have skyscrapers that are just filled with water at all times so that when you hit the tap, the water comes out. That boggles my mind. It boggles my mind on a level where when I think about it too much, I get horribly depressed.
Yeah.
Because it seems too large.
Yeah.
And so, like, I cannot process scale because it scares me. Like, the amount of water Toronto uses on a daily basis...
I don't get it.
...scares me.
Yeah. I don't... like, how?
The way in which we pump gas out of the ground breaks my brain.
Yeah.
It's so... When people are like, billions of barrels, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean billions? How can there be a billion barrels?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that there are even a billion barrels for us to put the oil into is too much for me.
Yeah.
I can't process what a billion looks like.
Yeah.
Right? And when you tell me that, like, Elon Musk has $270 billion, I'm like, how?
Yeah. What
How
does
is
that
this,
even mean?
What is that? What is the like, I can't abstract that into something that makes sense to me. Yeah. And so I just like shut down.
Yeah.
I try and then I shut down because it is too much.
Yeah. And then you're like, and I'm done.
It's unacceptable and it must be stopped.
It must be stopped.
It must be stopped.
No numbers larger than 276,000 are allowed to exist.
There's a great TikTok by this Australian comedy duo that I love. And one of them's playing the teacher and they're teaching. They're like, yeah, so when satellites, I'm not going to do their accent because it'd be horrible. When we put satellites in orbit, they are constantly falling towards the Earth, but we like set them up so that they fall at the spin so that they stay in orbit. And the other guy it cuts the other guy, and he's like, yeah, no, I don't like that. And it cuts our teacher's like, you don't understand it, or you don't agree with it. He's like, no, I don't like that. Like, I prefer not knowing that. And I was like, yeah, that's how I feel about so many things.
Is that for real?
Apparently.
Cool.
Right? You don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Anyways, no, I don't like that.
Right. I know that's how orb works. Like, I can intellectually understand it, and it's still bad that is the truth. Like, I am against that being a fact.
Yeah. I take a moral stance against orbit. Not orbit gum. It's fine. Although it's not great.
Alden says, nerdy process says, the sun is a constant nuclear fission explosion in a vacuum with enough mass to hold planets to it. That's fucking crazy. Like, if you really think about that, how are we not living in a simulation? You're telling me that any of this shit is real? Really?
Mm-mm. It is one of those crazy things where if that exists, why does this not exist? If there is a multiverse out there,
it does exist.
This probably... No, I mean, in real life. How do I...
You're holding it.
What if there is a multiverse where this is how the world works? This is the world.
This story. I thought you meant the book.
No,
I was the book you're holding.
I just mean, the world is full of crazy shit. This book might exist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow, my brain hurts.
Anyway, this is why I am in a constant state of collapse internally.
Insomnia. You are like a sun that is collapsing internally, but the gravity is holding. I don't know how it works. Doesn't matter. Anyways.
I wonder if finishing campaign 2 and this book at the same time is leading to me being more intellectually collapsible at the moment.
Intellectually collapsible.
That's how I would describe myself right now.
You could instead replace collapsible with portable. That sounds more positive.
So I could be a portable intellect. That sounds like a D&D.
A portable intellect.
Johnny Coleman says, can I interest you in absurdist philosophy? I don't know if I would survive it, to be honest.
No, we went and saw Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, okay? And I'm good. What? It's an absurdist play.
I don't think it's that absurd. I think it's mostly literal.
No, I just mean the genre.
Oh, I wouldn't describe Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead as absurdist.
Really?
Yeah, it's too straightforward. It's just a comedy. Absurdism to me has to, it's not nearly insane enough for me to call it absurd.
Okay.
It follows too many, the reason why I wouldn't consider it absurdism is that it follows a very typical structure.
Yeah, but it's not the structure that makes it absurd. It is the analysis of almost like living in a simulation in a way. I don't know. I think that I don't know.
Tom Stoppard, I agree, is absurdist. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern is his most... I guess I just view that as his least absurd of his absurdism.
Okay.
I would definitely call it farcical, for sure. Anyway, let's continue to talk about Hero Ages, because we went on the longest tangent ever known to mankind.
Nah, we've probably done longer. Someone should, we should have records going.
Nobody should have to watch our show.
Yeah,
because I'm not fucking keeping the records. Yeah.
Get out of here. Why are you here watching our brains break in real time?
There's an art to flying, or rather a knack. The knack lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss. Douglas Adams, man. I fucking love those books.
Incredible.
I haven't reread them in a long time. I need to do a reread. Have you read Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yes.
All 4 of them?
No, just the first one.
Oh, you got some good reading ahead of you.
Yeah, no, I've only read the first one.
My mom gave me those books. We still have them. They're so yellow because they're so old. They're my mom's original copy from when they came out.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
From when the first, the box set came out.
That's cool.
They sat on, it was one of those sets that I grew up looking at because the side art was so weird. And then she eventually gave them to me when I was 9, thinking I would love them. And I did, unsurprisingly.
Next book club. No, you've read it. There's 5 books in that trilogy?
5. You're right. I'm wrong.
I don't think it counts as a trilogy anymore.
It does.
What?
Absurdism. See, that's absurdism. All right. So, wait, where were we? What were we doing? I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, this all happened because, yeah. So the caches are under places with lots of metal.
Yes.
And Yeoman reveals that he did not, in fact, have the atium. Only 7 beads of it that he had squirreled away pre-Fall of the Ruler.
Yeah.
That was the Canton of Resources, backup funds.
Yaman was a prepper. Yeah.
Not really. He was just kind of a crypto bro. Yeah, Yeoman is kind of the crypto bro of this.
Okay.
He thinks he's a great leader, but he's not.
He believes so hard. He just is nah. Bitcoin is the future.
These 7 beads, man. NFTs. One day they're going to be worth so much. Yeah. You don't understand. You guys have to get in on 7 beads.
7 beads.
That's going to be our cryptocurrency that we're going to drop.
Nah, I hate it.
Guys, we're doing a pump and dump. You guys need to help us do a pump and dump.
I don't know what that means, and I don't like how it sounds.
A pump and dump? Oh, it's basically where, like, you basically get...
It sounds like a fucking chuck, and I don't like that.
It is not like a fucking chuck.
But that's what it sounds like.
A pump and dump is where you pump up the value of a cryptocurrency.
To the moon?
And then you sell it at its height and watch as it crashes. You like... So basically, like, you get Logan Paul involved, and... I'm joking. For legal reasons, that was a joke.
Yeah.
For legal reasons, that was a joke. But might I interest you in a channel called CoffeeZilla if you'd like to learn more about that joke.
Good channel. Good
Yeah, pump and dumps are technically illegal if you can prove them. The problem is it's really hard to prove that they actually happen.
Yeah.
And Vin is like, Ellen's not going to attack because he's a better man than I am.
Because I love him. Yeah.
And I was
he's
like,
better than me.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know about that, Vin. You're pretty great.
I just love that they bring out the best in one another.
100%.
And that alone brings me joy in this series. Like, it's so good.
All right, we get back to Lesabornis. He is barely awake. Beldir's now in love with him, which felt... Look, if all I had to do to get a wife was horrifically burn every inch of my body... oh, wait, I did it. And I didn't have to do that. Crazy.
Yeah.
Their relationship concerns me. Because mostly he stalked her and then she betrayed him. And that's kind of their only interactions with one another. Like, these two people are in love. They've never had a conversation about anything other than Lesabornis telling her that he is going to kill her brother.
Here's the thing. They did spend a week hanging out together that we didn't get to see a lot of.
I would like to point out that he was holding her prisoner.
Yeah.
I had as much a problem
that upset about it.
I had as much a problem with Master Chief having sex with Makee while she was his prisoner.
But they didn't have sex.
I don't care. She touched his thigh because
she touched his thigh. Guys, whoa, calm down.
And the entire time that she was flirting with him during that, she was manipulating him. Their relationship is a nightmare to me.
Well, Arzu does bring up that their brains are not fully formed yet because they're basically children, and you're not wrong.
I know, but that's when Mormons get married. So, like, Brandon Sanderson is definitely like, these two need to get to it.
Yeah. Start pumping out them babies.
Don't bring up Master Cheeks. I got to, Sweet and Savory. I got to.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Yeah, hormones will play a big part.
No, it's betrayal. It is 100%. He stalks her and then kidnaps her, and she allows it to happen because she plans on betraying him when the moment is right. That is their entire relationship.
But I do think that she is at least in love with the idea of Lesabornis because he has been this almost religious figure, like almost Kelsier level.
Yeah.
Right? She's been hearing all the stuff about him, and she believes that he is trying to be a good person.
I would like to point out that he got that status because an evil god gave him evil god powers.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
I know. That's why this is not a good relationship.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a good relationship.
It is built on lies. And
I just think she loves the idea.
Post Sazed giving them, I don't know, a future, he's going to be like the king.
Yeah.
Like, Lesabornis is going to be the leader of the world moving forward. And his queen is going to be a woman who the only thing he really knows of her is that she betrayed him. I don't know that he knows anything about her.
And that she looks very sad.
And that she's hot.
Yeah, she's hot with sad eyes.
Yeah. I like Lesabornis.
Bellborns. Lesta Beldre. Yeah.
I don't know. This relationship, I was like, I don't know, guys. I think that y'all need to go on like a first date at some point before you decide that you're like fully in love.
Yeah. Take her on a date.
Yeah.
Take her on a date, see if it actually clicks.
He's no society, so I take her hunting maybe? I don't really know what they're going to do. It seems like Sazed got rid of all buildings.
Here's the thing. I have a feeling they're going to go, like, apple picking. You know, apples didn't exist. The trees are now green. Like, apple picking sounds like a great first date for them. That's what I'm going to recommend as a unlicensed therapist. Take her apple picking.
I cannot believe that orchards have managed to pay us to come do our labor for us as a date activity.
Well, don't you get to keep the apples?
Yeah, but, like...
So you're basically just paying for apples at a high price.
Yeah. And they don't have to pick them themselves? They don't have to pay labor?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The orchard, the farmer who's came up with that is sitting back somewhere being brain. Like, oh my God, white girls will do labor if you say that it's cute. Yeah. This is the easiest shit in the world.
If you market it as like fall girly, like date shit.
God, yeah. Some marketer was like, guys, we are paying
the biggest
way too much for people picking our apples. What if we got white women to do it for us?
Yeah, that checks out.
We make it Instagrammable, and we get a bunch of white women to come up. Their boyfriends will reluctantly be present.
You gotta make it look cute. You know, you at least gotta put in that effort, right?
Cottagecore labor. That is very funny.
Kyle, thank you so much for that super chat. I think the Lord Ruler represents Joseph Smith and says his religious journey is Sanderson's self-justification for still being Mormon while knowing it's not
For being
true.
Mormon.
What did I say?
I don't know. You said Mormon. Like Mormon.
Mormon.
You said Mormon, though.
Mormon? No. I did never. My tongue did not make an L noise. There was no touching the tip of the teeth. That's no.
Okay, well, when I pull this out later, it's going to be very funny.
You have to clip this now because you need to realize you're wrong.
We are at 1 hour and 20 minutes in the recording. I'm not going to do it on there. I'll do it on here.
That fuck you guys. No. Oh, maybe I said...
You definitely said Mormon.
Maybe I mixed up Mormon and while. Like, because the words were beside one another, so it's like Mormon. Maybe that happened. I have no memory of this place.
I'm gonna make Mormon t-shirts, just and with the timestamp.
Here's the thing, Kyle. The only thing that I know about the Book of Mormon is what the musical has taught me. So did Joseph Smith make slaves? And did he make mountains?
Well, no. However,
but he was like, fuck black people until God was like in the 70s. No, actually,
that's not it's so no. Basically, I'm going to fuck this up, but there were two people. The Moroni and the...
Yeah, no, I've seen the song where they sing Joseph Smith, the American Moses, and they talk about the shitting in the water and getting dysentery.
No, not that part. Basically, God smited the Nephi people for being evil, and he made them black. And so
right. He made
so
them,
their black skin was signaling that they were the ancestors. Wow, this really is like Mistborn, isn't it? Oh wow, their ancestors.
Oh my god.
Was it the Lamanites? That might be it.
That sounds familiar from the musical.
Yeah, and so basically, like the belief was that their black skin was literally a like plague from God for their ancestors' actions.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
I want to be very clear. I don't believe this.
Yeah.
And then in 1978, the leader of the Mormon Church was like, "Hey, we need to walk this back because we look super." And in 1978,
God changed his mind about black people. Yes. Yeah.
So it's basically, it's not true. I want to be very clear, but I now see, but, unfortunately, I now see the 1,000 years of the Ska being slaves for their ancestors and the noblemen's being the noblemen's because they were the Lord Ruler's friends at the time in a different way.
That is fair.
They were going to lose their tax-exempt status? Randall Thor, that can't be true. If that is true, that is wild. Fabulous, thank you for that super chat. Not a t-shirt, a very white girl flowy thing that says Mormon vibes.
Mormon vibes. Nobody will understand what that means except people who were present for this moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things that was like a part of the Mormon Church that is.
Oh wait, it wasn't Joseph Smith. It was Brigham Young who took up the tablets after Joseph Smith died of dysentery.
I don't know exactly, and I want to be clear. Like, I am not an expert on the Mormon faith. However, I am seeing the parallels.
Interesting, yeah.
I will say, I'm not dissing Brandon Sanderson at all with this, because at least Brandon Sanderson did have this. The books are about the ska realizing that this is all bullshit and overcoming it and breaking out of it, right?
Yeah.
It isn't reinforcing it, but I can definitely see the influence.
The inspiration, if you will.
Yeah.
Wow, that is fascinating. Okay. Huh.
Can you imagine like being a Mormon in the 70s? Just, not liking black people, and then one day the leader of your church is like, "Hey guys, so here's the deal. Either we all have to like black people now, or we have to give the government so much money."
Yeah.
And
so
and just like one day you're like, fuck.
I guess we're not racist anymore. Or we have to pretend to be not racist. That
is wild.
I did not realize that.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Sometimes people are like, "Why are you an atheist?" And I'm like, well, in 1978, God changed his mind. Oh my god.
Huh.
I mean, hey, look, they are more greedy than they are racist, so that's like kind of better.
They're more, greedy racism. They're very close.
No, their greed is above. It's definitely racism.
No, I just mean on the scale of like what's worse.
Oh yeah.
They were like racism, greed. We'll go with greed.
That is so funny.
Wow, yeah.
In a way that like isn't funny because of how much harm it probably did to so many people's lives, but
yeah, looking back at it, it's like,
oh my god.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you mean? You don't believe that God has his own planet? What do you mean? Makes sense.
Yeah. The ancestor thing now feels so weighted. Especially because Brandon Sanderson was writing this like 2 generations after that, and wrote the citizen in as being like, if you're like within 5 generations of the nobles, like there's so much interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, interesting. Interesting. All right, we need to move on. Vin sends a metal letter to Vin. Les Mortis sends a metal letter to Vin. He writes it in steel, and Goradel is a dope motherfucker. And I'm so sad that he died.
So sad you didn't make it. You were so close.
Not really. He wasn't close at all.
No, I mean, like, in a few days, like, the world gets better.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't
I meant
hold
he
out.
didn't get anywhere near where he was going. But...
No. I mean, just, like, in terms of, like, his lifespan, if you just made it, like, a week longer.
All right, we get into chapter 65. Ellen is like, yo, Ham, should we do this? And Ham is like, no. And Ellen is like, whoa, what? What?
I'm sorry.
What? You made a choice? What are you talking about? Who are you? Are you a Khandra? You're a motherfucking Khandra, aren't you? This is not the Ham that I know. Who are you? What? Who are you, a Khandra? What? No, absolutely not. Unacceptable. I will not believe this. This is not Hammond.
All right, we're leaving.
It's a great moment, honestly.
He literally is like, okay, you know what? Pack up. We're leaving. You're really hamming this up. Thank you, Nicholas Reed.
I'm so sorry for the podcast listeners who are driving.
So sad. Yeah.
They're just like, what?
Oh, God. You're gonna cause accidents. God damn. Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. So we're gonna talk about how Sazed got his own planet. Oh, I'm assuming Mistborn Era 2 is just Sazed on his own planet alone.
It's like the end of Watchmen with Blue Boy on Mars. Just building his own little thing. Fabu says, when is the soaking jump pumping chapter? It's not on page. You just have to go to our smut corners and it's there.
Yeah. Well, that's later on.
I shifted one of my lungs doing that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, they leave.
Yeah, they're like, fuck.
Ellen is
deuces.
like, you know what? If Ham has come to a decision, then that's what we're going with. Like, Ham is the most like pure person, so we're gonna listen to Hammond.
Yeah, and so they start to retreat, and Ruin is like, "Fuck this! Did you think that I couldn't take the Koloss back, you fucking idiot?" And then Vin is like, "Oh fuck!" And so the Koloss, as they start their retreat, he's like, "Send your men out." And Marsh shows up and is like, "You've got to do this." And Marsh is like, "Yeah." And Yeoman's like, "Oh, my lord, you've arrived.
My lord.
My lord, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
What does the Lord Ruler ask of me?"
And so, basically, Marsh is like, "Tell me where the ATM is." And Vin is like, "You don't have it." And Marsh is like, "No!"
Vin is like, "I've been playing you all along."
Yeah,
this was my plan, actually. Crazy.
Vin gets advantage on deception checks against God.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I know.
Because he falls for everything. Ruin is a gullible little boy.
Here's the thing. I think if you had the power to kind of know everything that people said.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't get in their brains, but, like, I feel like you would just believe that you were so aware of everything.
Yeah.
That, like, you would be a little bit gullible.
Oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I like that.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually really fascinating. Yeah, so Marsh is present, and we kind of get this, like, four-way conversation that plays out between the four of them, where Vin is trying to manipulate Marsh and Ruin. Marsh is in his head trying to not kill Vin, but, like, trying not to, like, reveal himself too soon because he thinks it's going to be important later.
Yeah.
They...
Wait, no. Marsh, the Inquisitor Marsh, wants death and wants to kill Vin, and Ruin is trying to hold back from killing Vin because he needs to know where the ATM is, and right now he's not sure if she knows.
No, that's not yet. That happens in Luthadel.
Oh.
They're not breaking Vin's bones yet.
Oh, I thought this was similar.
No, they haven't really got into... They're not really fighting. Marsh is, like, shaking Vin, but he gets into, like, the, like...
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I just took that coloring from later on and, like, applied it to this scene.
Maybe it is here. But anyway, he's, like, shaking her. Yeoman bends and sends his army out to attack Ellen's retreating army. And he's like, "No, like, this is what the Lord Ruler wants." And Marsh is shaking Vin. She manages to get some metals in him. Get some metals, downs those, and then pushes a little piece of metal through Marsh's brain. He's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's got lots of metal inside of him.
Yeah.
So.
So she starts pushing on Marsh's emotions, and Marsh freaks the fuck out because she pushes a little too hard, and he runs away.
Yeah, he gets a little bit worried because Ruin is like, "Oh, maybe Vin actually has the strength to be able to, like, take over." And so he just kind of I guess removes Ruin from the board, or not Ruin, Marsh from the board at that point, and is like, I'm not gonna risk it.
We're kind of getting the, like, order of this chapter a little bit wrong because there's so much that happens right away. One of the other events is that Vin realizes that she can still control her Koloss because Ruin only took Ellen's, so she sends her 1,000 Koloss to attack Yeoman's forces so that Yeoman loses.
Yeah, Yeoman is like, wait a second, if I'm following orders, like, why are they attacking me? This doesn't make any sense. It's just to sow confusion.
Yeah.
Because Yeoman believes so hard in the Lord Ruler that he's, like, thinks that this is all part of, like, a divine plan.
Oh, right. The thing that goes through... sorry, we should have said that. The thing that goes through Marsh's brain is her earring. And because she takes her earring out to use it as a weapon, she's able to draw on the mists.
And that's when Ruin disappears.
This is what I mean. A lot happens in this chapter very quickly. Like, there's the, like, play of everything in the field.
So fast.
And the conversation of the four of them and the, like, combat of this. There's a lot here. This was one of my favorite chapters of this reading. It is dense and complicated, and the, like, interplay of Ruin influencing Marsh to influence Yeoman versus Vin manipulating Yeoman, and, like, how they did that physically and emotionally at different times throughout this chapter, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
I feel like this chapter you could do an hour-long breakdown just of this chapter going like moment by moment. It is that good.
And like how and why it's like ordered the way that it is, because like having this moment between these few people in a room versus what is happening outside with these armies, the parallels and like keeping all that in order and in a way that I could understand. Sometimes they get a little bit lost in these like fast beats, but it felt very, very clear to me what was happening. I was not like confused. I didn't have to like go back and be like, then wait, what happened?
Yeah.
So props to that.
I also think that it moves fast enough that I wasn't too upset that Vin didn't realize that the earring was part of it. Because there's a part of me that's like, Vin, it's your earring. Every time you take your earring out, you're allowed to use the mists.
Yeah, but it's only like the second time it's ever happened.
Isn't this the third?
No.
Is this number 2?
She killed the Lord Ruler.
Yeah. Oh, she never does in book 2.
This is the second moment, and she's like, oh, it's because I was about to die.
Right.
The mists, for some reason, have to believe that I am in, like, mortal danger, and so that's what, I get why she makes that connection. I agree. Things move so fast that, like, how would she be able to tell that the moment the earring was out, that ruin disappears? Like...
Yeah, no, I think that, because things are happening the way that they are, she doesn't realize that when she takes the earring out,
but I was
Ruin
like
disappears.
Waiting for her to realize. It's like, come on.
One of the things I find so fascinating about Ruin is that he's in the same spot for everybody. Because this chapter brings up that Marsh comes in and like bows to Ruin in the place where Vin sees him.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's just weird for God. I'm like, why would they appear in this? Yeah. Like, are they there? Like, it's like a weird... But they're not. They're not physically there, so...
No, but he is...
Different people can see them in different places.
He can be physically places because he's there when Preservation reveals himself and, like, Ruin kills him.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying, like... The decision by Ruin to be in the same place for both people, it doesn't seem like he would be limited to that. But it seems like he is in some way that I don't understand.
Well, the same thing happened with Lestibornis and the
Citizen.
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, it does seem like that, like, physical representation might have to be the same for whoever is present at the time. Like, he can't, like, show different visions to different people in different places at that same time if they're all present.
I totally agree. Yeah. So then Elend and his army start fighting the Koloss, and Vin shows up and is like, Yeoman's gonna let you in. Get inside. Get inside the fucking walls!
Yeah.
And Yeoman is like not the worst dude ever, and he lets them in. Marsh has fled. We go to chapter 66. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, there's a lot of chapters in this book.
Yeah.
Sazed and Tensoon are riding. And they're commenting on how deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to know. No, it's the ash. The ash has gotten deep as fuck. So much so that when they get close to the pits of Hathsin, which is where the homeland is hidden, and there's a prophecy about an army of Allomancers going to the homeland. Interesting. I'm sure that won't come up. So everyone is the hero of ages, kind of. It's complicated.
No, not quite. I think it's the hero of ages will like lead, like will show up with an army. I thought was of Allomancers.
Yeah, but it's Elend that does that, and Elend is not the hero. Vin shows up after they're already in the battle, right? Like Vin, Elend, and Sazed are collectively the hero of ages.
They are Ruin, Preservation, and the third. Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, Sazed would not have been able to do what Sazed did without the others. You know?
I don't think that Hero of Ages exists. I think that there were a bunch of prophecies all related to the same event, and they're all attributed to the hero, not realizing that multiple people were going to do different parts of it, right?
That's why there's no pronouns for the hero.
You could almost say that, well, no, because Elend brings them from the pits to the homeland.
But no, I think that you're right in a way that there is no actual hero of ages.
Yes.
It's why there's no gender pronouns for the hero in the original writings for it. Yeah. That like it could only happen if these people all like did their part, right?
Yeah, I just think they're like too old. I think it's the problem with all prophecies. I think it's the problem with the Bible, right? It's too old. Too old. It's been translated too many times, and so because of that, like you can argue about the meanings of sentences because it's been translated so many times that you're like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like there are so many passages in the Bible that you can look at and be like, well, in Aramaic it's this, but in Sumerian it's this. And
you're not supposed to like eat shrimp, but maybe it meant like don't eat like simps. Like let the simps simp, you know what I mean? It's that one letter. Changes so much.
It's 2 letters.
Math.
I don't know that you know how
Don't worry about it.
Numbers work anymore, but
I've never known how numbers work.
Okay, no. Okay, so let's play this game. If you have the word shrimp and you need the word simp, which one letter do you remove?
Well, the R is silent in simp. I don't know if you know this, actually. Like, it's a silent letter, obviously.
So you're saying we're making a lot of money off of your shrimps?
No, you don't pronounce it like that.
Guys, it's just one letter.
There's no R.
It's just one letter difference.
There is the R is silent, okay?
Oh, I like SIHMP. That's good, Jidwag.
Yeah.
I'm over here shrimping.
We love to shrimp, you know?
I'm just a normal shrimp.
A normal shrimp.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
How's your brain doing today?
Terrible.
I
told you I woke up with a headache, and you've been screaming this whole podcast.
I forgot that you had a headache. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
No, I'm sorry.
It's just very funny.
I'm trying to be entertaining.
You're very entertaining.
Oh my god.
That was a good clippable moment.
You got a good night's sleep. I don't know who to blame.
Yeah, I don't know.
I took NyQuil, so I woke up fucking feeling weird as shit.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I've just been like kind of headachy for like a week, and I think it's the weather.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was like almost spring, and now it's snowing again, and I just hate everything. So that's fine. These words should all be on one t-shirt to completely confuse everyone. People be like, I don't understand this shirt. But speaking of shirts, we have an Expanse shirt.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen our Expanse shirt, go check out go to the store. Links in the bio.
Yeah.
Go check out Live, Shamed, and Die Empty with art by Gail Sapienza.
Yeah. If you're an Expanse fan and you love Kamina Drummer because she is the best, go buy. We got shirts. We got beanies. We got joggers. We got mouse pads. There's even a pillow. If you're like, I want Kamina's face on my couch, you know? Like,
there's a coaster.
You can do that. It's like a set of coasters.
Oh, is that a set?
Yeah, if you're having your Expanse friends over and you want to like show off, get some coasters. Be like, I brought out the good shit. And they'll be like, hey.
Or if you have like a group of friends where there's one friend that you don't like, we have that. And you know who you are. You can give them that coaster, give everyone else a different coaster, and then give them the coaster that says Live Shamed and Die Empty, so they know that they are not welcome at your house.
Yes. Is there a coffee mug? There are, yes, there's a black coffee mug and a white coffee mug, so depending on what your vibe is, you could get both, or just one.
Yeah. I am once again asking for a Kamina cosplay from Cloris.
Oh my gosh.
That's my Bernie Sanders impression.
Beautiful. That was perfect. Man.
You don't know who Bernie Sanders is?
No, I know who Bernie Sanders is.
Frankly, I'm shocked.
I learned who Bernie Sanders was the first time, like, when Trump got elected because of the meme that was like Bernie.
The mittens?
No. It was like oh my god. It was like Voldemort and like Umbridge. And Bernie Sanders as Dumbledore. I don't know. It was a meme. I was like, oh.
What fucking meme are you talking about?
I don't know, but that is how I learned who Bernie Sanders was the year that Trump got elected.
That's you mean sad. 2024. All right.
What? Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm upset now.
I'm sorry.
Look, Bernie Sanders is, he's also fucking old as shit. So I'm like, I don't know if, I'd pick him for president. But he's got some good ideas.
Chat's going to be mad at me for making that joke.
Yeah, I'm mad at you for making that joke.
Oh, it was a
God
joke.
Damn.
Come on.
No. No.
Cooler heads will prevail once the primaries are over.
I really wanted to, going back to the cosplay thing, I wanted to get one of Kamina's actual outfits that they auctioned off, but...
I know, we missed the action.
Yeah, because I think our sizes are very similar. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that her costumes...
Let's get back to Hero of Ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hero of Ages.
You'll talk about cosplay for an hour.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then Sazed is pointed to the tunnel, and he, like, digs...
Secret tunnel.
I can't even get through a fucking sentence.
That was good, come on. It is, it's a secret tunnel.
So then Sazed gets off the horse, and he digs through the tunnel, and he gets to the Khandra, and they're like, stop! And he's like, what the fuck are you gonna do to me? You can't touch me.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Let me in. And they're like, yeah, fair. You know what? We can't do anything.
You can't kill people.
And so they go in, and he meets with the seconds, and they're like, fuck you. And he's like, yeah, no. Hey, it's the end times. And the firsts come in, and they're like, get out. We must speak with this one. And they're moldy and green. They look like meat that's been, like, hung out to, like, turn.
What? That is not how I imagined it.
Meat, like, goes green. Right? Over time, it'll get, like, gross. So they're literally, like, gross muscle.
I imagine because the bones are, like, kind of clear, I literally kind of picture them as, like, almost like fluorescent. Like, clear and, like, fluorescent green.
See, you tried to make it pretty, and I don't think it's pretty. I think they're so old that they look disgusting. I don't think they get prettier over time. They're like saggy and like they're like old meat. Gross. A little bit moldy.
But they're like jelly.
They got like moss on them.
They're not.
They're
meat,
muscles.
They're jelly. I mean,
what do you think meat
muscles?
is? What else
jelly.
would they be?
They're literally like gelatinous cubes, but in not cube form.
Made up of muscles.
But how are they clear? How can you see the bones? Like, clear muscles?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. That's just not how I pictured it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They're Jell-O shots.
Yeah.
Fireball! Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Yeah, kind of like jellyfish, actually, is what I pictured in my head.
Aren't jellyfish muscles?
I don't know.
How would they move if they're not?
I don't know. It's magic, okay? Leave me alone. It's magic.
Know. I need to write that one down. 146. I don't know. It's magic, okay?
It's magic, all right? You can just... everything is magic.
I don't know.
Anyways, chapter 67.
Yeah.
Ellen and Vin and Yeoman are inside the city, and the Colas are they're outside. They're waiting to get. Well, they're not really waiting to get in. They're trying their darndest to get in, and there's a massive fucking earthquake.
Yep.
I pictured we literally watched Shogun this week, and there's like earthquake stuff in Shogun because Japan.
Yeah.
And that is exactly
that earthquake scene in Shogun last week. Oh my, or this week. Whoa.
Was it? Yeah.
That came out on Tuesday, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. Go watch. If you're not watching Shogun, go watch it.
So
it's
good.
the best thing on television right now.
But they're
it's
like,
unreal.
Oh, the world is literally falling apart. And so Vin is like, what do I do? How can I use the mists to actually like get shit done? Like what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so she just fucks off. She leaves. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself in the most danger and pray. I'm gonna pray that works.
You're skipping over the best part of it.
What do you mean the best part?
She goes up to Ellen and she's like, I gotta go to find it. And he's like, the ATM? And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay. And Ruin is like, this is very convincing.
Yeah, this is
I'm
good.
very convinced by what these two are doing.
Yeah, no, this is some really good shit here.
This was the moment where I was like, wow, Ruin is the most gullible idiot in the world. Because Ellen is like, I guess you should go get it from the place we're hiding it.
It's the improv game where you try and speak along with the other person. And you're like, this sounds insane. But, like, Ruin doesn't get people, you know? Ruin doesn't get it. Ruin is desperate.
Ruin could never understand the communication between me and Ellen because he doesn't understand love.
The power of love, Murph.
It's power of love, Murph. Power of love.
No, but it's great. I love it.
I love so much the first 2/3 of Inception.
Inception or Interstellar?
Interstellar.
Yeah. There we go.
They both start with in.
Same thing. Same movie, honestly.
Once that movie becomes about the power of love, my eyes kind of glazed over, and I was like, I don't know if this is working for me anymore.
It fell apart for me, personally, but yeah.
But those first 2/3 are, like, some of my favorite movie making ever.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she leaves.
We're spoiling everything today. We're just talking about the ending of every other movie.
It's all old stuff, though.
No, we talked about Shogun. James, I was like, I'm not there yet. I was like, that's fair.
I mean, there is, like, earthquakes in the whole show. Like, they are present.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a spoiler. I'm sorry. But...
Go watch it. It's not our fault that you're behind on the greatest thing on TV right now, okay? And so, yeah, she leaves. Chapter 68. How many more chapters are there? It's 70...
Many. Many.
God, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
68. Sazed, oh, wow, yeah. We kind of talked about this. He meets Kanpar. And... Yeah. No, Kanpar, the name Kanpar reminds me of something, and I can't remember what it is. But every time I like Kanpar... Kanfar is the mating ritual that the
Ferengi do, isn't it?
No, it's that season 2, episode 1 of the original Star Trek is called Ponfar because they have to get Spock home so that he can fuck.
Yeah. No, it's coming back to
and
me.
Every time they say Kanpar, I'm like, oh my god, Spock has to go fuck somebody. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I was like, I think that this is a Star Trek thing. Yeah, no, I was.
Spoilers for an episode of television that came out in like 1968.
Yeah, that one is on you. You weren't gonna watch it at this point.
Yeah, every time I read Kanpar, I would think of like I would be like Kanpar.
I love that. That is very funny. Oh my god.
And so Kanpar's an asshole because he's just in heat. He's just, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a great episode. It's so funny. It is truly like peak comedy Star Trek to me.
Yeah. So now y'all are not gonna be able to unsee it. I'm so sorry.
Sorry for spoiling the original trilogy of Star Trek.
Yeah, that trilogy.
There's 3 seasons.
Is that? I don't know.
I think the original Star Trek's only 3 seasons, right?
I don't know.
Time to refund my Star Trek the original series box. There's 3 seasons of the Star Trek original series, right?
I don't know. I honestly, the originals, I don't even know if I've seen all of them. I really started with Next Gen, so.
Am I wrong?
You might be.
I might be wrong.
There's also, like, movies, so.
I just need to know. 1966, 1969. 3 seasons. No, I was right. 79 episodes.
There you go.
I love the original trilogy.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay. So then, where are we?
Well, Sazed is.
We already talked about this.
We talked about this. He's gonna speak with the first generation because they appear. They're like, get the fuck out.
He's also like, so I've got words and you've got memories.
Yes.
If we take what's different between them, we'll know what Ruin doesn't want us to know.
Yes. We'll see what he changed, and work backwards from there.
Chapter 69. Gorodel
Giggity.
gets taken fucking out.
Yeah.
By Marsh.
That's it. Marsh kills him, and that's it.
And then Marsh reads the note and starts heading for Luthadel.
Yeah.
Gorodel, you dang dude.
You badass motherfucker. I
wish you'd survived, brother.
Yeah.
Chapter 70. Ellen and Yeoman are walking around. They're checking in on people. They're having kind of a philosophical date night where this is how I imagine intellectuals date, where they just walk around and like say words from books they've read at each other.
They just quote at one another.
They just quote at one another. It's harder to do nowadays because so many women who read just like the dirtiest, raunchiest smut that you can't quote in public.
A great date night.
You can't quote in public. You got to quote that shit at home.
I mean, you could.
I don't know about that.
We've said some shit in public.
Yeah, but we're degenerates.
Yeah.
And we're also married. Like, if on a first date somebody was like, oh, can I read you my favorite passage from A Court of Thorns and Roses? I'd be like, oh, okay, we're fucking tonight? Cool. Great. I didn't realize this date was going that well.
Nice.
Yeah, we're married. We can do whatever we want in public because we're not trying to impress each other.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want in public.
I mean, well.
You said it.
Barring being arrested.
You said it. I was just repeating what you said.
Yeah. And so they go around and they're in like the hospital and they're walking around and Yeoman is like, yeah, so there's like 16 elemental metals and Ellen's like, I'm sorry.
What?
The fuck did you... Nerdy said that on the podcast last week. Nerdy called it.
We called some things in this book.
Yeah, the 16%, I was like, oh, maybe it's because there's actually 16 metals. And people were like, popcorns. This motherfucker right here. My name is Nostradamus.
What?
And I predict that the world will end in 2012.
You're a little late.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't say 2012 by the Christian calendar, so...
I said 2012 by the Hobbit calendar.
And so he's like, wait, but 16% of people get sick. And then 1/16 of the 16 people who get sick, get super sick, they must be the super sick. He gets to that realization later. But for now, he's like...
No. This is the part where he is like, wait a minute. What if he's like they look like they're in so much pain, like I was in pain when my father beat me, and I was like, oh my god. So
he realizes that people do be snapping because this kid is brought in, and Yeoman's like, lady, I told you to put him in the mist earlier, and she's like, but if I did that, then the book couldn't happen. I had to come in conveniently at the time when you needed to know about this.
That's how narrative works. Yeah.
And so. Says means 16 in French. That is actually really true. Wait, I said that? I did say that. Wait a second. I did say that.
You did?
Yeah, says means 16 in French. Says?
Yeah. Sorry, I was counting because I can kind of count in French, but I can't pronounce it well, so I counted in my head. What? What?
You are 30 years old, and I just watched you
30 yet.
count on your fingers to 16.
Yes, in French, I can count in English, but I needed to make sure I wasn't like missing anything. I learned how to count in French when I was like 4, okay, and that's all that I remember. What?
I've never seen you count on your fingers before.
Because it's in French. Okay. Don't need my fingers to like count in English. But I didn't want to say out loud bad French.
I don't think they could see what you were doing because I think your hands were under the camera, but it was just so cute.
I needed confirmation.
Oh my god, I love that in order to confirm that says meant 16 in French, you had to count starting at 1.
Well, yeah, because if I start at 11, I get confused and I go back to 3 for some reason.
You go 11, 12, 3?
Yeah, but it's not, it's like 13, right?
13, 14.
15.
16.
I thought it was sains, but that's a me problem. Because I learned when I was like 4.
Oh my god. That is so funny.
You know what the funniest part is? I can't count any higher than 16 in French. I don't know what 17 is.
17.
Oh, 17, 18, 19. And then it goes up like from there, right? Yes? It's been a while.
17 wheat.
I don't. Isn't that what it is? These wheat, guys. These wheat.
The wheat. You guys, you got D set and you got D wheat.
This is why I don't speak French. Like. God manifested you're counting in French. There were only 16 numbers.
I can't count higher than 16 in French.
I had forgotten what came after 16.
This is my favorite book club moment ever.
These weeds.
I just love that you fully stopped the show to go.
Well, I thought you were going to keep doing and no one would notice.
You thought I wasn't going to watch you count?
Yeah, I thought it was like
being really doing this with your fingers.
Well, I was being really like subtle about it. Like it was like really
You were not being subtle at all. Your lips were moving.
That I didn't notice. But if I was not being subtle, I would have been like Guys, fun fact, my mom put me in French immersion for about 4 months until she realized they were teaching me Quebec French and not real French, as she called it, and she pulled me out of school.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah. Being Canadian is weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
I only took classes in French until I was 10. I didn't take any classes in English until I was 10 years old.
That is wild to me.
I had called King George.
That is wild. I remember my mom tried to argue with my friend who had been speaking French her whole life because she was like, no, it's pronounced this way because it's the real French, not the Quebec French. Yeah. And I was like, Mom, my friend is 9 years old. You're arguing with, like...
a child.
Anyways, doesn't matter.
I get compliments from, French people. On my accent, because they're like, oh, you don't really have much of an accent, and I'm like, oh no, it's because I spoke French from such a young age that like my mouth moves in a way that is like
my mouth don't move like that.
Yeah, because you say de wheat.
I was like literally 4. It has been like 25 years since I have said anything in French. Actually, that's not true. My same friend would make me read her French books out loud so she could laugh at me at my pronunciation.
Yeah. Wow, sorry today has been so tangent filled. It's because we don't want to talk about the sad stuff at the end. We're stalling.
I don't want to cry. I put on waterproof mascara just in case, though.
I love that for you. So Ellen is like Demu's not here.
Ellen's like, here, drink this.
Yeah, Ellen's like, you got sick in the mist? Drink this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and then he drinks it. And he's like, oh my god, the power. And he's like, everyone who got sick in the mists, gather those bitches up. We're creating an army.
To war!
And yeah, so he creates a little army of Alamances, and Ruin sends his Kolos to attack, and he's like, look, we're gonna lose, but we're not gonna lose without trying.
Yeah, we're gonna do our darndest, you know? And they do all right.
Yeah. 71. Sazed and the First Generation are chatting. They're putting some stuff together. And Haddock is the leader of the First Generation. And he
Haddock? Is that his...
How do you pronounce it?
No, I can't remember what it is. But you said Haddock, and I was like the fish, but I didn't make that connection. Yeah, no, that's... I don't know. Yeah.
I love my favorite times when you interrupt me on this podcast, and this is not a complaint, but my favorite ones are when I just straight up just say words from the book that are repeated multiple times, and you go, I don't remember that from the book at all.
I forgot his name. Because I was like, it can't be Haddock because I would have thought about fish earlier, but I only thought about fish in this moment when you said it out loud.
So when you were reading how did you pronounce it in your head?
Well, I didn't really say it in my head.
How do you read? Because when I'm reading, I hear the words as I'm reading.
I don't really.
So then how do you... Oh, that's too much for me. How do you read then? How are you capable of reading if you can't, if the words aren't happening?
The words just, mean something. I feel like
That's wild to me.
I feel like my, how my brain works is through impressions and emotions, and literally the impression of the word is what it means, not how it sounds. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
That's so wild to me.
But oftentimes with names, I will have to stop and be like, how would I say that? But I just guess I forgot to do that.
So you don't know what 16 in French is. You know what it feels like to count to 16 when you're 4 years old.
Yes.
That's fast. That makes so much. That's why you need your fingers.
That's why I was trying to. That's why I had to count there, because I was like, "Is that?" I was like, "I can count a little bit in French," and so I had to like double check. So I had to go through them all to get to 16 because I couldn't just pull 16.
Wow. See, that's wild to me because I have to. The way that I process my dyslexia is that I have to turn words into sounds because my brain will.
Because the letters don't mean anything.
Because the letters don't mean anything. So if the sound doesn't sound right in my brain, then I know that I read it wrong. And I go back and I figure out what I read wrong. Mm-hmm. That's weird.
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't hear it as it goes. That's so... That like blows my mind.
It depends. It like I can slow down and hear it. But, like, when I'm, like, reading quickly, I don't know.
Interesting. All right. Well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Haddock explains a lot about preservation and ruin. The Kandra really did have the info the whole time, which would have been so helpful earlier.
Yeah, but they fucking hate people, so, like...
They are people.
They were people. Yeah. They are now something other.
And then they get attacked. Compar, or no, wait, that doesn't happen in this chapter. They show Sazed the body of God, which is
the body
ATM,
of Christ. Yeah.
Which
you can't eat it.
I don't know how I feel about
this.
You
can eat it actually. You eat the body of Christ.
The power of Christ compels you. It's a lot of Catholicism in these books. I feel weird about ATM being ruined.
Okay.
Because
fair. I feel weird about it as well.
Because it's not like the other metals are preservation. Right? And the mists are preservation.
But maybe it's just the opposite of ATM is preservation.
But here's my problem with ATM being ruined, is that ATM allows you to see the future.
Yeah.
Which is not ruinous.
Here's the thing. It is the body of Ruin. It's not Ruin himself?
No, but Ruin, but it is the power of Ruin.
The power. Wait, but no, that can't be it.
It is. It literally is. It is his power.
Okay, wait.
Because it is a physical manifestation of his power.
But but it can't be all metal, because there's a metal that you eat to become an allomancer, which we know is of preservation. We have been told that allomancy is 100% of preservation. But here's the thing. Hemalurgy is a thing of ruin, but it's not limited to one metal. It's just kind of like how the metal is used.
What? No, it's literally his body.
I'm confused. Yeah, but sorry, I just mean that, like, we know that allomancy is of preservation. We know that hemalurgy is of ruin. But hemalurgy isn't, like, bogged down by a single metal. And so ATM being Ruin's body is a weird concept because I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't see the future.
Wait. Did Rashek make Ruin's body ATM?
No.
Because he made the Pits of Hassan, he made ATM grow in these geodes, like he like kind of literally made it up? So did Rashek actually like take away? No, preservation locked up Ruin. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I just think that the power of Ruin giving you the power to see the future is a little bit...
It seems...
not analogous to me.
Yeah, it seems like because of the popcorn, there is more to that. So, perhaps Mistborn era 2, maybe?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. As soon as I started like thinking about it, I was like, wait, I don't get it.
John Schmidt says the future isn't of Ruin, spoken by the guy who just predicted a second Trump win. It was a joke.
Stop saying it.
It was a joke.
Don't even think about it. Don't need that negative energy.
Should we tell them about the retcon? Oh, is there a big retcon in this?
No, we'll figure that out. We'll get there when we get there.
Does the retcon happen in a book, or does it happen in one of Brandon Sanderson's, like, letters that he wrote?
No, don't worry about that. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Because, yeah, I found it interesting that they were like, this is his body. And I was like, okay, I don't mind him having, like, a physical body like that. Obviously, he has like, the body of Ruin, the power, and the body of Ruin, the person who was the mentality behind Ruin, are different, right? Because there's a body.
We saw Rand al'Thor drop dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a wob, I think. What's a wob?
Wobbledy wobbly.
Oh, is it a word of Brandon Sanderson or something like that? I think that, like, I just found it interesting that a power that comes directly from a ruinous thing would give you the power to see the future. Thematically, that seemed opposite to me, and I don't know. It was just, I don't mind it. Like, it changes my opinion of the book zero. It just kind of felt a little bit like, oh, it's weird that it's that one and not, like, something that lets you see the past or...
But the past also...
Because if any of the metals would be...
Things can only be ruined in the future.
That's not true. Things can be ruined in the present.
Well, but then that would be the past's future. I'm so serious.
Okay, but...
What?
But my point is that the only of the powers that is truly ruinous is aluminum.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Because it literally ruins the other metals.
Yeah.
You don't get to use them. You don't get any power from them. You ruin them.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. This doesn't make sense to me yet. Maybe it will in the future.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It says it made them excellent killers. I mean, so does pewter, though. So does coin shots. Like, all of these, most of these abilities make them really good at killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vin kills a lot of people without ATM.
Vin doesn't need ATM.
Vin doesn't need ATM. Vin is a very successful murderer without ATM. In fact, we'll talk soon about how I don't think that the ATM should give them as much of a leg up as it does against the Koloss. But
yeah.
All right, let's move on to 71.
Anyways, we should say there is a bunch of ATM in the homeland, which
Tensoon is headed towards where Fadrix.
Yeah.
And finds a river of lava. And he's like, well, no, I'm not going to Fadrix.
Can't do that.
Chapter 72 starts with, yes, there are 16 metals.
Yep. What do you think the other two are, and what do they do?
I don't know, because he said they're temporal. Yeoman makes the comment about there being 4 temporal metals, which are...
I don't know what that means.
Gold lets you see the past. ATM lets you see the future. The 11th metal lets you see something.
Oh! Yeah, God, I haven't thought about the 11th metal in forever.
I'm assuming that comes up more in the next series.
Wait, no, gold doesn't like...
Oh, save it for the full book recap. Yeah, we'll talk about this in the full book recap. We'll talk about we'll figure out the 16 metals in the 11.
Yeah. We'll go over it.
So Vin gets to Luthadel. She's being chased by the 13 Inquisitors. And I was honestly surprised it wasn't 16 at this point. And
yeah.
So she goes to Krennic Shaw and she starts the fight. Where she uses her metals at first, but she runs out really quick, and they begin she runs out of metals and they start breaking her bones. They just start.
Marsh does, yeah.
Yeah. She then absorbs. Marsh has the moment where he's like over her. He's like, I want to fucking kill her. And Marsh is like, no.
Ruin.
No, Marsh. Marsh wants to kill her, and Ruin's holding back.
Yeah.
Ruin's holding Marsh back.
Yeah.
But Marsh wants to Marsh is like enjoying it.
And you said Marsh is like, no. Sorry, I was just saying that it is Ruin that's like, no, don't kill her yet.
No, sorry. I was like, Ruin... No, Marsh goes, no... Marsh, like, takes over in the moment of...
Sorry, it's Marsh and then not actual Marsh. Like, there's, like, Marsh and then there's, like, Ruin Marsh and then there's Ruin.
So Marsh is enjoying it, right? And then he wants to hurt her more. He becomes, like, bloodlusted.
Yeah.
Which makes him
weaker?
able to say no to Ruin.
Yeah.
Because Ruin can't control him as strongly while he's bloodlusted.
Yeah.
Which allows him to bloodlust to the point where he takes full control and rips out the earring.
Yes.
Because Ruin's control is severed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which allows Vin to absorb the mists again, fix her legs. The book doesn't really get into how her bones fix.
I assumed that the mists worked kind of in a way that Feruchemy and Allomancy like come together.
Okay.
That is what I imagine, because we know that the Inquisitors use Feruchemy to store healing and can heal themselves. So I just thought that it was feruchemical.
Yeah. So that makes sense because she like leaps off the wall.
Yeah.
Like in the next paragraph, and I was like, oh, I guess her legs are just fine.
Yeah, she like heals herself with like pewter and feruchemy is what I thought. But like
we've seen her use feruchemy to heal over time, but like
no.
Yeah, it still takes like it's not instant.
But no, we've seen the Inquisitors literally instantly heal.
Because they're feruchemical. So when you say that it's feruchemy as well, I was like, yes, that must be it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Allomancy alone can do it.
You said feruchemy. I agree that if it's just pewter, it wouldn't make sense that she can heal immediately.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you. I was saying that you changed my mind about it.
Okay. Yeah, because pewter helps the healing ability, like it helps your body be stronger, but it's not like an instant fix. So
yes,
yeah, I think it's gotta be something to do with feruchemy, because she gets up and she starts fucking kicking ass.
Yeah, and she starts the anti-queef. Where
I'm sorry?
Rather than releasing the gases, she takes them in.
Is mist a gas?
I don't know.
Is water vapor a gas?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's the anti-queef.
Okay. There's so much science in these books.
Yeah, so she anti-queefs. She starts absorbing the mist.
Yeah.
And
then
she
we're not at the
starts
fight.
beating the shit out of the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Tensoon.
Oh, yeah. First we cut to Tensoon.
We're so close. This fight is so cool. I just want to talk about. But yeah.
Oh, one thing I want to bring up about Marsh's thing is that he does like think of her. He brings up this is the moment where I started to get a little bit emotional at the end of the book. Was when Marsh was like, Kelsier looked at her like a daughter he and Mare never had. That started it.
Yeah.
That started it.
That's where the tears started.
No, I didn't start crying because I was like, we were mid-fight. I was too into the fight choreography.
But your heartstrings got
I was
pulled.
like, oh, I'm feeling the end. I'm feeling the end coming because we're being reminded of the emotional moments from the first book.
Yeah.
So Tensoon is like, oh shit, everything's going to Luthadel. Maybe everything's not over. He's like kneeling next to a lava river being like, I guess I fucked up. And he's like, maybe not. I'm going to run to Luthadel.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Ariane, who is like, Breezy baby, come over here to this window and look at these weird mists with me. Breezy.
That is what Alran sounds like, absolutely.
And Breeze comes over and is like, what the fuck?
It's like, that's pretty weird.
Spook, walking now, gets in the room and is like, hey, we gotta go. And I don't know how he snapped because his fingers are, he went, hey, we've gotta go.
No, he's already a little bit better.
He probably can't fully close his lips. He's like, hey, we gotta go.
He's so crispy.
Come on. Well, and he's all bandaged too, right? He looks like Usopp at the end of the Alabasta arc.
For you One Piece people.
Yeah. And so he disappears out the door.
Well, Lesabornis is like, we gotta get in the caverns immediately right now.
Elend and Ham are watching the Colossus are attacking, and they're watching from the top of the wall as the mist change. Then the Colossus turn around and they start running to Luthadel too. And everyone's like, what the fuck's going on in fucking Luthadel?
We gotta go where the people are.
Probably Vin. You know
probably
what?
Vin.
It's probably Vin.
It's usually Vin, yeah.
And so Vin starts just murdering everybody. She like brings an Allomancer down a tower so harshly that it goes through his body, and she rides him down using her weight to pull his spine down this tower until she's left at the base of this tower holding his skull.
Wow.
What the fuck?
What a visual.
How do you do this in live action if it's not rated R? Like, here's the thing. I can't see a Brandon Sanderson thing being rated R.
Yeah.
But also, like, this movie has to be rated R. Well, actually, no, there's too much slavery and, like, beatings. I actually don't know that you could do Mistborn without rating it R. Even book 1, right? Like, there's too much, like...
I guess it depends. I don't know what... I always thought R ratings meant more, like, sexual content.
No.
Maybe that's just because, like, movies that are also violent tend to generally have, like, sex in them. Because they're like, oh, it's already rated R anyways, I guess.
Did you know that you can have one boob in a PG-13 movie?
Yeah, but only one.
But only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't know that you could do this without rating it R. Because it's too violent.
Yeah.
PG-13 can't have too much blood. And, like, I don't know how you do this without blood.
That would feel really silly.
I don't know that there would be a lot of language. Like, there's not a lot of, like, F-bombs.
No.
Yeah, so she beats the shit out of everyone. And, Marsh reveals a little bit of information that he's like, my plan worked. And Ruin is pissed. And Vin pulls out one of his eye spikes, but not the other. And vanishes.
Yeah.
And becomes God.
She becomes God. She pulls out the one eye spike and, like, hesitates before the second one. And Marsh is like, yes, please fucking kill me. But she disappears before she can do that.
Yeah, and this is where I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like the end of this book.
Yeah, no, I know.
I was
you were like,
uh-oh. No. Did Vin just... is Vin not in the rest of this book because she's God? Uh-oh.
There is a moment
It worked for me, don't get me wrong. I really like the ending.
Yeah.
But this was a moment of, like, me being like, oh, God, this is about to get weird in a way that I might not like.
There is a moment from this fight where Vin duralamins so hard that she, like, shoots herself past the clouds.
Yeah.
And
I believe I can fly.
I, like, took a picture of the description because I kind of want to get a t-shirt made.
I can touch the sky.
That's just, like, Vin suspended, like you know, like, small, like, just, like, an outline of a person with, like, stars above. Because she's like, only Alamancers can see the stars because of their enhanced vision. So you've got, like, the stars, you've got Vin, and then you've got, like, the mist... and, like, the clouds.
Yeah.
And then you just have, like, the spikes of Krennic Shaw on the bottom. And I took a picture of this visual because it was described so well that I'm not a person who can, like, visualize things ever.
Yeah.
But I stopped for a moment. I took a picture of this because I was like, this is, like, when you're watching, like, an anime and you see one of those images that's just, like, deserves to be framed. That's what I saw for this, and I was like, oh, it's so fucking cool.
I really do think Mistborn should be an anime. I think that if they do it any other way, it will not hit the way that I think it needs to. I think you need the scale of animation to pull this off.
It's so big.
Just give it to the team that did Arcane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would be really cool.
Or the team that did... It needs to be darker. Like, I don't want it in the style of, like, Legends of Vox Machina. You know what I mean? I don't want it in the style of, like, One Piece. I want it in, like, the style of Solo Leveling or Arcane or what do we just... Even Blue-Eyed Samurai is too clean. Like, it needs to be dirty and
No, I love the
smudged.
Arcane style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need the line work to be messy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck, no, I would love that. Anyways,
Grybox says imagine it animated like Korra. We haven't seen Korra yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We keep talking about it, but yeah, we haven't gotten around to it yet. Anyways, yeah, that was just a moment from this fight that I wanted to, like, bring up because it was so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like Titanic brings up the moment in Arcane when Putter's bomb explodes and she falls from the side of the building. That visual of the, like, slow-mo. Yeah. It's a great moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get to chapter 74. Mm-hmm. Ellen and Yeoman talk about the unusual heat and the disappearance of the mists, and because the ash is gone, the mists are gone, and Ellen is like, "Get in the cave, I must go." And Yeoman is like, "I am a seer," which is an atium misting.
Yeah.
Not very useful, but here's my bead. Take it and go.
Yeah.
Chapter 75. All that information is important later. That bead isn't, though. I kind of wish there was a moment in the final fight where he was like, this is the last bead. This is Yeoman's bead. It would have been nice if that was like the last one he took.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even
just
think
like
about
some
that.
acknowledgement of it later on would have been nice, but
yeah.
I'm not really complaining. When they find a mountain of atium, it's easy to forget about the one bead.
Yeah.
So 75. It is weird to think, though, there's probably like little bits of atium around other places.
Oh, yeah. Just
different noble houses like have it in their basement. There's people just casually have little bits of God around.
That's weird when you put it
I want Dan Brown to write a Da Vinci Code set in the Mistborn world about finding the last beads of ruin.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Do you think anyone made anal beads out of atium?
Probably. That would be... No, they'd be too expensive at the time.
Yeah, but there's that one family that's so rich that they're like, we are so rich that we make our anal beads out of atium. You know what I mean?
The only house that could afford to do that is the Ventures. Do you think that Straff just had
Alariel, I feel like the Alariels were close.
No, because Straff's family mined the atium.
Yeah, but they didn't get to keep any of it.
No, but because they were the richest family. But hands down.
Weren't. Which is what's hilarious.
Well, it
were
falling apart.
All a lie.
They were falling apart, but at one point...
they never had the atium.
No, but they're the ones who, mined it. So,
they weren't. That's what the whole thing is. They thought they were.
They had the atium mines.
They ran the atium mines. They never had the atium. It was always a lie.
What do you mean? It was all... No, it wasn't.
Yes, the obligators removed the atium from the geodes and gave it to the Khandra and then gave empty geodes to the...
Okay, but it's not all of the atium because we do know that the Lord Ruler took a very small percentage to be distributed through the population. So Straff definitely had atium. It was not totally a lie.
But Straff mostly ran the shipments of empty geodes.
Yes.
The majority of his business was, like most American corporations, a front. He was essentially pumping the stock market on atium while the stock market was actually all fictional. It was all made up.
I mean, he didn't know, but yeah, he was...
Oh, no, I know he didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was basically doing the woman who... what was that? The medical company that was all a fucking scam a couple years ago? He was basically doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah, atium was a pump and dump scheme run by the Emperor to hide the body of God. This book is crazy, y'all. That is a sentence that you can say. James Ross says, how diamonds are rare. Exactly. Yeah. Theramore. Thank you. Yeah, it's like Theramore. It's all fucking scam. Theramore. Yeah, I don't know what that is. When the stock market was fictional, as opposed to the very real values of our stock markets. Did you know that the company Nvidia is worth more than the country Canada right now? I'm not joking. That is a fact. Before or They're after worth $2 trillion on the stock market at the moment. Yeah, because of crypto and because of AI. But you can't. But crypto is not as valuable. So mining crypto with Nvidia cards doesn't. I know, and so the mining value did start to go down. Yeah. But then AI is making their cards worth everything because everyone's buying them right now. It's literally it's the AI market right now is making Nvidia worth more than the country of Canada. Disgusting. Is Nerdy saying video cards are the body of ruin? Probably. Disgusting. Sayzed is hanging out with the firsts. Yeah. He's learning a lot of stuff. There's this is where they get attacked by Compar. Yes. Yeah, so he is determined to learn the Terrace religion. Yeah. Because we learn it is the one religion that the Terrace people were really desperate to find and never could. And he's well, I'm gonna go learn it from the people who actually know it firsthand. Mm-hmm. Which is Sayzed's literal dream. Okay. And there's stuff that happens before Compar comes in, right? Mostly just talking. Does he decide to put the metal mines back on before or after? It's before Compar comes in, right? No, it's after. It is after. Yeah. He gets them from the bag that they're in. When he gets out of the cell, he puts his metal mines back on. Oh, I thought there was a moment of... I don't know. No, they're in the bag, right? Because they get disposed by the door. Yeah, I thought these aren't important. I do love that they just leave them there. Yeah. The Khandra don't really keep up. But they do talk about faith. Says it's but it's
all of these things are a lie, and the first are kind of like, yeah, it's not about that.
Well, and this is where Sazed is like, I have to make a decision on whether or not what happened was a sign or not, because I was asking for a sign and I needed one. And then he's like, you know what, I'm going to decide that it was. Breeze was right. I wasn't meant to be an atheist. And then the first generation are like, hey, y'all, we might all have to commit suicide.
Yeah, so then...
Have you guys read... No, I can't bring it up.
Yep, no, we're not
can't bring it up.
Spoiling that. Yep. We're trying not to do that. Good job. 10 out of 10.
And so he is like, you guys, we might have to kill ourselves. And Kampar is like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, no.
So Kampar leads the Fifths, who are the most loyal, and they're all beefy dudes, to come and arrest them and throw them. They kill the prisoners, which is wild, that are like sentenced to life in prison, and then they fill the holes with the goo of the Firsts. It's a lot. And they throw Sazed in one of these holes.
Yeah, I'm so curious, like, what these, like, conjure criminals have done to get life in prison. Like, was it, like, tax fraud? Was it murder?
I don't know. They probably, someone probably killed a person, right? In 1,000 years, somebody has broken the contract.
Oh, and, like, attacked a human.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
And so they get tossed in, and they're bound and locked up. Chapter 76. Vin is just gas. She has become unqueefable.
She absorbed all of the mists.
Yeah.
The mists are inside of her.
And she's just up there floating like crazy. And she's talking to Ruin, and Ruin's like, yo, what's up? You a god now. How you feel about that? And she's like,
how you feeling?
I feel crazy, but the planet's dying. And so she blocks up the ash mounts. She she fists the ash mounts, stops them, and cleans the air.
And then the world lights on fire, and she's like, ah, shit, oh no.
Yeah, it's too hot. And she's like, goddamn.
Too hot, goddamn, call the police and the firemen. And
so she starts making wild changes, including spinning the earth away from the sun on the side that her people are on.
Yeah, so what about all of those people on the other side of the earth that just lit on fire?
Also, how does this not kill everyone?
Just spinning the world really fast?
Yes.
Magic. God powers.
I just wish that it had cut to Ellen, trying to, and all of a sudden he the earth beneath him just is gone. It's on the other side, and he's still going in fucking Africa, and he's like, where the fuck am I?
It's not.
How did this happen? But because he's in the air, the earth moves underneath him. He's still in the sun.
Could you imagine if you just jumped at the wrong moment?
Yeah. And suddenly you are slammed into a mountainside.
Oh my god.
You would hit something eventually.
Yeah. No, that's awful.
But no, she uses her magic, I guess, to keep everyone where they were without killing them by suddenly spinning the globe.
That's not that hard. That's easy shit, you know? Just God girl shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
and Ruin laughs at her because he's like, haha, you're bad at this. This takes refinement.
And so Ruin kind of brings up that preservation gave of himself to create humanity. And Vin makes a realization that Ruin and her are still equally powerful. So something of Ruin has also been given up, which is very fascinating. And then she follows her boyfriend to Luthadel. Ellen gets a critic shot and is like, whoa. Oh, right. We didn't say Vin, before she killed Marsh, or before she fought Marsh at the end, she did a Duralumin push so huge and crazy big that all of Critic Shaw was destroyed.
Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right.
Killing the last of the Inquisitors. That fight is great. Honestly, I didn't want to go beat by beat explaining it, because just go read it. It's so good.
We're not going to do it justice. Yeah. Because it's just too damn good.
Yeah. But I can't wait to see it in anime form. So, yeah, Ellen gets there, and Vin is like,
where is Vin?
Ellen.
MistyManGaming.com.
And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And he hears whispers that pull him west.
And Penrod is dead.
Oh, yeah, Penrod's dead.
He killed himself because he was like,
he committed seppuku.
Yeah, someone is fucking around with my brain. I have done terrible things. It's over for me.
Oh, and so Ellen sees, so Penrod wrote in the dust the Terra's dominance, and Ellen is like, Ruin can change that. Terrace people?
Maybe.
And so he goes west.
Yeah.
Elend goes west.
Into the west.
78. Tensoon rescues Sazed. Tensoon is fucking everywhere in these books. He's bopping, he's bouncing, he's going from place to place.
He is, like, truly, like, the unsung hero.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 100%. Because here's the thing, you know, Sazed is, like, storing up some energy in the, like, hinges of his cell.
Yeah.
Very funny. Very cool.
He's moving very slowly, and he's very light.
Yeah, but he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do my best. Gonna try and get out. But luckily, Tensoon appears at the right moment, and so it all works nicely.
And he shows up, and he's like, "All right."
They get the first out of their cells.
I want to explain that this is the coolest fight ever because Sazed stands on the metal.
Yeah.
And moves power in and out of the metal.
Yeah.
That he is on to fight.
Yeah.
This fight is so fucking rad if you really think about the fact that he's stuck in one spot. And, like, he is doing all of this stuff without being able to get off of his, like, DDR pad.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's so
what
good.
a cool idea.
Yeah.
If you can't take your power with you, you have to stand where your power is held. It's awesome. Yeah. I fucking loved this so much.
It's so good. Sazed and Tensoon are like the dynamic duo that we needed. Tensoon impersonates one of the fifths to so the first can like regenerate their
because it's going to take them hours to put their bodies back on.
Yeah.
Hours that we definitely have. It's not like the world's coming to an end.
Yeah.
So Vin follows Ruin to the paths of Hatson, where she sees this bright light, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" Konpar is giving out the atium, which is like,
dumbass. How
did Ruin not realize that atium burning away meant that his power was going away? Ruin is not that smart.
It's his body, though. He is like disconnected. His
body and his power are the same thing. The book says multiple times.
No, because he still has power without having his body, so they're separate.
I know
He's just more powerful with his body.
I know that, but his body and his power are synonymous, as Sazed says in one of the epigraphs.
But then he wouldn't be able to do anything.
No, not all of his power, but Sazed says in the epigraph that I'm using body and power interchangeably here.
He's not but he's like disconnected from it though. Otherwise he'd be able to.
I know. I'm only saying that in the epigraph Sazed uses them interchangeably.
Cataract, welcome back to the nerd table.
Ellen being the German word for misery makes very weird sentences in my mind sometimes. Interesting.
Oh, the misery.
Oh, the Ellen. That's going to be the theme song when the Arcane team makes this.
Yeah, of course. God damn it.
So Konpar's fucking everything up. And Ruin seizes control of Konpar, which is the first time we've seen Ruin take over a Kandra, who are the least controllable because they only have 2 spikes, not 4 or the 85 that Marsh has just in his penis alone. What?
Is he a cat?
I don't know about my... Okay, wait, I actually have a question. Is piercing your body a sin in the Mormon church? Are, like, body piercings a sin?
I was wondering that as well.
Right? I've never thought about it.
Yeah, because I know that obviously, like, body piercings in certain religions are, like, bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so, yeah, I was wondering, like, what the Mormon faith believes about, like, body piercings, because I do find this very funny.
Body piercings are discouraged, yes. Interesting.
Because they're of ruin.
Interesting. And so, yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
Ellen gets the bits of Hatson and meets Demu.
Demu survived.
Demu's there.
Demu's there.
Yes, Marsh has a Prince Albert.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Arzu.
He's got 87 Prince Alberts.
And Tensoon attacks Sazed. Unfortunately, I think Tensoon is dead. Which sucks.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, he shows that he takes his spikes out. They're all dead. All of the Contra.
No, but Tensoon dies. Tensoon's killed.
You think so?
Yeah, because in order for Tensoon to show up, I think he has to be dead.
What do you mean show up?
Tensoon attacks Sazed here. Oh, no, it's because he's controlled. I'm thinking about something else.
Yeah. Tensoon, attacks Sazed, takes the spike out.
This is what I was confused about in the moment. I thought in the moment, I'm forgetting what I read after this. No, Tensoon attacks. I was like, oh no, Kanpar has taken Tensoon's body.
Oh, I had that thought as well, and then it's like, oh no, it's ruined. Yeah.
But then the book changed my mind about that. I'm literally remembering my thought process of reading the books.
I love that. Yes, Tensoon is dead, as well as all the Kandra.
Yeah, and so he is like, the time Tensoon rips out his shoulders and he dies.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I don't.
If the Kandra would have the same consciousness if they were given spikes again. Like, how much of the consciousness is retained through being a Mistwraith? Because I wonder if it's 0 or not. If there was a Mistwraith,
would it just like connect? If you put the spikes back in, would it just like connect those neurons back up?
Yeah. Would they be the same person? Would they have their same memories? Would they have their same like feelings about things?
I like that.
Or would they be a completely new consciousness?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Guys, if you put popcorns up, sometimes, you're just saying that it's gonna happen.
No. They're saying that it is talked about later on.
I know, but you're saying that that means that like in Mistborn Era 2, there's Kandra again somehow.
Sure.
Like if you just don't put popcorns up.
Or it doesn't have to be Mistborn. Like you said that they're all in the same universe. The thing is, we know that they're all connected anyways, so it doesn't matter. Like
sometimes popcorns are a spoiler.
See, I don't know. I don't think so. I get excited because I'm like, oh, I have questions. Yeah. And we are going to find out more information.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I get excited. I'm like, oh, wow.
I just mean that, I'm like, oh, the Kandra are going to be in Mistborn Era 2 then. You know what I mean?
Or at least a future book.
Yes.
But that makes me happy.
But that's half the fun of it. That's fair, Zydus.
It's better than, saying like yes or no, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's like saying read and find out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, there are things that, there are more books. So it's like, okay, well, obviously,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really find it a spoiler.
Popcorn means you're theorizing, that's all. Oh, okay.
It means we're cooking.
I don't feel like I'm cooking today. I'm trying to get through this
Uber eating.
I might be Uber eating.
We Uber eating.
We bought so much food, but you're not here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I might just stay home tonight.
Okay. Chapter 80. Demu is like, yo, Elend, there's thousands of us. And the fucking Koloss are coming. And he's like, well, fuck. Kelsier told us to be here. And Elend is like, fucking sure he did. Fucking Kelsier.
He's like, I'm sorry, Kelsier?
I'm sad that I'm sad that no one ever finds out that it was Tensoon.
I know. Although, Elend is in the afterlife, so maybe he learns it there.
Yeah. As if he's going to spend any time not shaboinking with Vin.
It's true. They have no responsibilities now, so they can do whatever they want.
At some point, they have a threesome with Chanelario, right? 6,000 years into being, you're like, let's try it.
No, she was kind of an asshole, and, I don't know if I could ever get over the fact that somebody killed me, I don't think I could have sex with a person who killed me.
See, I think if I lived to be 6,000, I would be like, I kind of want to fuck the person who killed me.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Just for, the novelty of it. This is the problem with living forever, is you're like, I need something new. Sure. It's why, heaven sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah.
Perpetual
nightmare.
Existence actually sounds terrible to me.
Yeah, I'm a hard
what do you
pass.
do?
Hard
How do you enjoy anything?
Exactly. If nothing has meaning anymore.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe being penetrated by something sharp by Vin would make Shan want to be penetrated by something, silicone. Anyways, Sazed shows up with a bunch of Mistwraiths and is like, we cut to Sazed, who is in the halls.
Who wakes up, yes.
And sees that Kanpar and them are trying to remove all the atium and give it to Ruin.
Yeah.
And so Sazed sees that his bag is on the floor in the hallway, because apparently the Kandra don't clean up after themselves. And he runs over. He does a cool slide to his bag, throws on his shit, gets real big and heavy, and slams against the door. And he just starts holding the door and starts screaming for help.
He becomes Hodor.
The Mistwraiths aren't smart enough to help him.
He's basically just waiting there and praying.
Yeah. So Elend hears his name whispered on the wind, and he's like, "We gotta go to the homeland." And so he goes. He goes to... Vin, like, helps him find it. And they go down, and they find Sazed holding the door. And he's like, okay, we'll help out. And they go in, they fucking, like, beat the shit out of the Kandra. Because what are the Kandra going to do? There's, like, 20 of them.
Yeah.
And Ellen finds the A-Team horde and starts moving people into the caves.
Yeah, because everyone's underground and, you know, there's fucking earthquakes. And I love how they're like, are we actually safer underground from earthquakes?
No,
but like...
No, but the Lord Ruler... Out there, I guess? The Lord Ruler would have chosen the caves that are not at danger of earthquakes.
I mean, he was God at one point.
Which is how caves work.
He would have an understanding, hopefully, of that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And so we get to chapter 81... The final fight.
Yeah. I love the epigraph here about snapping. Because obviously Ellen has learned that the miss making people sick is just snapping them so that they can use their allomantic abilities.
Yeah.
Because I know there's more like Mistborn stuff, I have a feeling that there's gonna be more on like snapping and like what that actually means. Because here's my question that we talked about.
Yes.
I don't understand why none of the nobles got sick.
Because they get beat as kids,
but like none of
so
like the snapped. Noble children fell sick. I don't remember what age they're like beaten at, and like maybe some of the beatings weren't harsh enough. And, like, they didn't snap and then snap late. Like, the fact that 0 nobles fell ill just seems, like, weird to me.
It might have been preservation trying to balance what the... It might honestly be preservation attempting to, you know, think forward and give... rather than it being snapping inherent abilities, giving new allomantic abilities to the Ska population so that in the world after... the cataclysm, there is balance between the nobles and the Ska because they both have allomancy in their blood now. And it's almost like...
So you think he was making them allomancers, not that they already had the allomantic ability?
Yes, because here's the thing, right? If it was him snapping 16% of people who already had the ability, right? If 16% of people have the ability inherently, and he was snapping them, only people who already had it, then people who had already snapped wouldn't snap again, and so the numbers would be off. So he was choosing 16% more of the population, not including allomancers that had previously snapped, or else the numbers wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah, because if you counted people who had already snapped, then the 16 wouldn't be accurate. So yeah, he must have been making them into allomancers.
The allomancy equation would be off, and so they wouldn't have noticed the direct number of it.
Okay.
So he has to be pulling in 16%. Because a lot of people have already snapped, right? A lot of these are soldiers in Ellen's army. They've been in war. They would have snapped at some point.
Right. Most likely. I mean, not all of them have, like, fought before, but some of them definitely have.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I feel like it was probably just, preservation, like, choosing. And here's the thing. The number 16 doesn't mean anything except that it is, like, a signal from preservation. So I feel like, it's got to be preservation choosing.
Yeah. All right, so the fight begins. Ellen basically is like, all right, these 300 people with me are all ATM mistings. They got the most sick, which means they get the best power. So we're going to burn all the fucking ATM. Now, and they go out and they fight the Koloss. There's 300,000 Koloss versus 300 ATM mistings. And Ellen fucking doing damage. I do not think that this actually works, unfortunately. I know this is going to be a little bit controversial.
How dare you?
I like how everything else goes at the end here. I actually don't buy that ATM alone would make you a good enough soldier to survive more than about 5 minutes.
Why? It like literally slows you down. Like it slows down.
I know that. I totally understand that. At the scale that you would be fighting, without pewter to give you the physical strength necessary to become a physically capable warrior. And to be nimble enough to move fast enough to react, I don't know that ATM would actually help. that as much as the book makes it seem like it does, right? They're like killing thousands of Koloss. I think the majority of these soldiers would be able to see shit coming, sure, but they would just die almost immediately because without pewter and without kind of the enhanced abilities that the Mistborn get, I don't know that you would be able to react fast enough to do to fight for long periods of time.
You can't. It is set up that ATM does change your reaction time. That it feels like the world slows down and everyone else is moving slowly around you. That's why it's like
that doesn't.
You can see everything. Your brain, because otherwise your brain wouldn't be able to process all of the possible futures in front of you. It literally like expands your mind.
But it doesn't give you the ability to move your body faster.
No,
that's what pewter does, and that's where I think like yes,
Koloss don't move faster.
What?
The Koloss don't move faster, so
it's
as long as you can...
I'm not saying that you would die on the first blow.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, like, I don't think that you're going to be able to physically keep up with your ATM for very long without the other powers. I think that you would find yourself in a position where you would tire out very quickly, and the numbers would just overwhelm you. You would dodge one sword, but you wouldn't be able to dodge all of them, and eventually...
Well, that's why they kept together as, like, a group. For me, I buy it because they're in a group. It's like 300 like highly trained soldiers that like have been following Elend for the longest time, and so like seeing Elend inspires them. The Church of the Survivor inspires them. They keep together as like a group of like 300 people who can work together as a unit. I think I would agree if it was like individual like single people, you know what I mean? Like if you have one person surrounded by a horde of people, that is a lot of extra energy that you're putting out to fight all of them at once. But I feel like in this situation, in this battle, like they are able to strategize enough because they can see the future and they've worked together before. So that's what makes it believable for me.
Yeah, I just think that you would last about 20 minutes. I think that this entire battle would last about maybe 20 minutes, tops. And they wouldn't kill thousands. They would maybe kill... Well, they would probably kill a couple thousand. But, like, they wouldn't actually dent... I agree with what Catherick is saying. I think that ATM mistings are better off in a 1v1 battle than they are in this, right? Because if you think about it, yes, sure, you can see what the person in front of you is going to do. But if you're facing an army and you're seeing 300,000 ATM shadows, you've never used it before.
Yeah.
You've never fought with this metal before.
Yeah.
You don't have the physical advances. You're basically just being tossed into the worst place to use ATM without the like things that allow Elend and Vin to use it effectively.
Yeah.
In a 1v1 fight, it would be very different because it's 1v1. Yeah. But like, I don't know on a battlefield, this wouldn't really give you as much of an edge as I think the book treats it like it does. Because without pewter, I think that you would get fucked so fast.
I assumed that like, so here's where the ATM is, right? And you've kind of got the 300 people here protecting it. I, like, assume that people were, like, taking breaks so they have to go get back more ATM. Like, I assume there's, like, a front line.
There's no chokehold,
people
though.
Are, like...
But this is my problem. What they should have done...
they're surrounded like this, but I thought they were, like, backed up against, like, the cave entrance.
But what they should have done is pulled back into the cave and fought the Trollocs 20 feet deep in the cave. What? I'm not joking. They should have...
You said Trollocs.
Oh, God. The Koloss... They should have pulled back into the cave, right? And created a choke point and used ATM in the choke point rather than going out and fighting out on the field where they can be surrounded on all sides, right? It was a tactical thing that I feel like the ATM is only a benefit 1-on-1. Or like 3-on-1 maybe. But once you kind of get beyond those odds, it stops kind of being a benefit, and then it's really just a physical issue. I don't buy that these people, without the pewter, if they were all Allomancers and they had pewter, I would totally buy the scene.
Mistborn, yeah.
Yeah. It's where you... It's when you have just ATM that I'm like, I don't really know how this gives you this much of an edge in this kind of combat.
Yeah. And it is interesting that, like, we only find out that people snap and become Allomancers here, that, like, we don't learn that some people become Mistborn.
Mm-hmm.
They just get, like, sorted into, like, what, like, metal they can burn. And so I'm like, okay, well, then how are the Mistborn made? Yeah.
Dizal, I agree with Dizal here. But, yeah, I thought going out was dumb. If the goal was to burn the ATM, they'd want to make sure they had the time to burn it all. That's my point, right? They should have held back because...
Yeah, I understand.
You could protect the interior of 4 caverns against 300,000 people for almost ever, right? Because you could rotate your front line. But like when Ellen's like, I go back and get more ATM, I'm like, how do you stop fighting to go back? You're out in a field. It's not like there's like a line. There's no wall. There's no trench. There's literally no defensive position. It's just dudes in a field.
Yeah.
How... I didn't understand the logistics of this fight almost at all. Because they should have been surrounded instantly on all sides. And...
Which is why I thought they had to have, like, the cave to their back. Like, they... Like... To be able to go get ATM, I just imagine that it was like a defensible position.
But they don't even have like shields, right? Like they're not fighting a kind of warfare that makes sense to cycle your front line. And so this just didn't really work. The logistics of this combat didn't really work for me.
Interesting. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
I hear you.
It was bad strategy. Burn the ATM while you're standing inside the cave. Guard like the fucking holes. There's just the problem is that there was such an easy solution to this available to them that they didn't take. That I was kind of like, why would you go out there? That doesn't make especially if the goal is just to burn the ATM. Like if you didn't need to kill Kolos at all, if that wasn't the goal ever.
Yeah.
Why did you do it?
Yeah.
Ellen would still be alive.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, well, so while this is all happening, Ruin and Vin are, like, duking it out in the sky. Mm-hmm. Like, Vin is like, I'm gonna attack Ruin, but then they're two, like, evenly matched, and so she has to
keep ripping each other apart, but neither of them are willing to completely die.
Yeah. And Sazed is watching the battle and being like, it's fine, Vin is gonna show up.
Yeah.
I have faith now. Faith is good.
And Ellen is like, yeah, fucking now you do. And so Marsh shows up, and Marsh starts attacking Ellen. And Marsh also has ATM. Because he got it from Pamfar. And
Pamfar's a fucking dumbass.
They do be fighting until Vin, in her god form, puts her hands on Ellen's shoulders and helps him out. It's not enough. It's not enough to really save him. Ellen dies. He's killed.
Yeah.
And at the same time that he kills Marsh, they kind of like boop each other at the same time.
Yeah.
And they fall. And Vin turns towards Ruin and is like, see, now you fucked up. Because the only reason I had to live was that man right there. And he's gone. And so I'm more than willing to fuck you up. Let's go. And she pushes herself against Ruin. And they merge. And they kill each other in becoming one. And their bodies fall. Apart.
Yeah. They are perfectly evenly matched. That, like, they do... Like, literally, like, Marsh and Ellen kill one another at the same time, and then Vin and Ruin kill one another at the same time.
I do like that Ruin's body is a ginger, which makes sense because he is soulless.
No, he's Randall Thor.
We're both going for different jokes.
I know. Yeah. This was what started to get me.
What?
When I was reading.
Get you sad.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
He was a body with red hair. And I was like, oh my god. Brandon Sanderson made a ginger the ultimate villain.
Rude.
It is Randall Thor, though, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like...
It just made me giggle.
You're like, oh wow, did this man finish writing The Wheel of Time?
Yeah.
Oh, he is kind of Ganondorf. That's true, too. That's funny.
Why is it always gingers?
Yeah, gingers are evil. And then when they're adapted into movies, they're black.
What?
There's a lot of ginger characters.
Yeah, no.
That like the movie adaptation comes out, that's the character that's made black.
Yeah.
And some people take that to be like that there's like a conspiracy or something. I don't know. I just kind of find it funny that it is. There's like a consistent trend of like in comic books, if they're like a ginger in the comic, the chances of them being black in the live action is like way higher.
No, I know. I see it. Wow.
Like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. Good point.
Oh.
Linus Vikstrom, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super
Thank you for the hugs. We appreciate that.
Yeah, hugs definitely needed.
Oh, Wally West moment.
Man, this was so sad. So Say's it there, and he's like, it's fine. Evan is gonna show up. It's all good. Demu has a little girlfriend.
Demu does have a girlfriend.
Demu found a girlfriend in the week that they've been like waiting there. Arzu, welcome back to the nerd table. Thank you for the hugs. We appreciate it.
So Sazed puts his copper mines and everything back on, or he has them on, and he stands over Ellen and Vin's bodies, and he is like, "Oh fuck." The prophecy said that he would bear the future of the world on his arms. I got that shit right here.
I got these metal mines.
And so he reached out and he grabs Ruin, and he reaches out and he grabs Preservation, and he sucks the queef into his body, and he ascends to godhood at the Field of Ascension.
Yes. The Field of Ascension. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I started to really cry... because I was like emotional through all this, but what got me was this line we get to the epilogue. Whatever makes it hurt less. You guys know I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable.
Well, and also we should, before we get to the epilogue, Sazed literally boops everything to pre-ascension.
Yeah, I was about to talk. Yeah. He does that because he's like, oh, I have this religion that I brought up to Kelsier about maps, and so I know where the continents go, and I have this religion about the stars, so I know where the location is supposed to be in the sky, and I have this religion about colors, and so I can put flowers back, and he ends on flowers, which I think is really fucking beautiful.
Oh my god, yeah.
But then I started to cry. The epilogue starts with Vin was special, and it ends with, of all of us who touched it, talking about the power of preservation, I feel she was the most worthy. And that was the line where I was like, oh no! No, it's happening!
No, just fucking tears. All right.
And so we end up with Lestabornis, fully healed, in the cavern. And he goes outside, and he opens the cavern door, and he sneaks up. And he sees fields of green, skies of blue. And he's there with his friends. Mm-hmm. And other doors open up nearby. And... it's the start of the show Lost.
Shut the fuck up. This was way better than Lost.
It's a better ending. No, the caverns and the cave are all there together in the same spot.
Yeah, they've all moved so that, like, this was the moment that I didn't know that I needed, but, like, Ham, like, seeing his family.
Oh, that, like, I was fucking broken. I was
like, oh, no. Like, I didn't even, like, think about it. And then I was like,
yeah.
Ham.
Yeah, and so, yeah, everything's
literally
green. It's wild. It's such a crazy ending.
It's like this most beautiful visual because you've got the green fields and the fucking flowers with fucking Vin and Ellen's body just in the middle of it, and I was
holding hands. Yeah, and he's like, I want to read this. I wanted to read Sazed's one of his last lines here. When Lestabornis walks over to Vin and Ellen's bodies, and he finds a book, and it's a book with a photo of a flower in it.
I'm gonna fucking cry again.
And it starts with the beginning of this book, which is I am unfortunately the hero of ages.
We fucking called it, by the way, but we already knew.
Oh, we called it so hard.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to listen to the audiobook now and hear like Sazed. Yeah, I think that's a crazy choice.
Yeah.
I have made you Mistborn and healed the damage you did to your body by flaring tin so much. I hope you don't mind. It was Kelsier's request, actually. Consider a parting gift from him. P.S. There's still 2 medals that people don't know about. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, no. Where's the line about...
which one?
About Vin and Ellen. Oh, it's the beginning. I tried to bring them back, but apparently fixing the bodies doesn't return the souls. I will get better at this with time, I expect. However, be assured that I've spoken with our friends, and they are quite happy where they are. They deserve a rest, I think. And I'm gonna cry now. That paragraph fucking sent me. I was gone. I was done. I was trying to read the rest of the book, but that paragraph was like, I'm crying now. Because if you think about it, like, Vin had, like, 3 good years of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, don't read it. You're gonna make me fucking cry again.
Yeah.
I mean, she had like 5. You know, like she met Kelsier when she was like 16.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, it wasn't much time.
It got me so fucking good. You know what I mean? In a way that, like, I haven't cried this hard over a book in a long time, as I did yesterday.
Yeah.
No, it reminded me of The End of Fault in Our Stars, where I literally was, like, not okay for the rest of the day. And I wasn't okay for the rest of yesterday.
I, like, actually don't think I've cried this hard for any book.
Really?
I don't cry a lot for books. I cried, I cried a little bit, at the ends of the last 2 Harry Potter books, but it wasn't, like... Yeah. It was not like the way that I was crying with this one. It fucking sent me. I was like, oh my god.
The mascara was a good choice.
Yeah, waterproof mascara, guys. It's a good choice if you're reading The Hero of Ages. Or talking about it, apparently. I was like, I'm not gonna cry. And then I was like, fuck, I can't read it.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
And so that's where the series ends. Yeah. It's beautiful.
What a ride.
Spook, Lesabornis, he turns to Belder, and he shows her the photo of the flower, and the flower's around him, and says everything's gonna be okay. I do like that in the end, Breeze is looking at all the color and the blue sky, and he's like, that Sazed was crazy. It's no wonder he couldn't do anything right. I was like, that's very funny. Add some levity into the fucking, like, emotional destruction that is Vin and Ellen lying there holding hands.
Oh, God.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's very good. Good book.
Good book.
10 out of 10.
It's a good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lesabornis became a survivor. He became a Mistborn. He really did kind of become Kelsier in this book in a wild way.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but yeah, he kind of did. Because of what he did in, like, Urtra, like, he's going to be a leader for these people. Because, like, so many people are dead.
Well, and I just think that, like...
And I hope that this world only has one continent, and it's here, because everyone else is fucking dead. Although,
he fell in love with a woman who betrayed him. Nicholas read that's so true.
Wow!
He becomes Kelsier.
Wow.
And he learned from Kelsier, and so Kelsier's vision for a better future will live on in his decisions. And I think that is beautiful, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. It's such a good book. The ending makes Vin and Ellen finally getting to dance at the ball hit even harder. Oh, yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's always so sad when, young people only get that little bit of life. It's weirder now. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, yeah, burn bright, don't burn for a long time, but burn brightly. But now that I'm 31, the idea of, like, I feel like our marriage is, like, barely in the beginning phases of it being good. You know what I mean? Like, we're still like getting better at it.
Yeah.
And
it's weird because, like, 400 years is too long, but, like, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm at the age now where I'm older than a lot of the protagonists in the things that I love when they died. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it just, that to me makes me sad. As I'm getting older, the sadness I feel at reading about people who don't get to grow older hits harder.
Yeah.
Because when I look at, like, someone who's, like, 25 now, I'm like, oh, you're such a kid. Like, you don't even know what life is yet. And I think that when I'm 40, I'm going to look at 31-year-olds and be like, you don't even know what life is yet.
Yeah.
And it's this weird curse of life to, like, not truly be able to appreciate what you had until it's gone. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just wild. That's a beautiful book.
Because it's not just, like, the potential of people. It's the, I think it's, like, a blessing to get older and look back and, like, really realize, like, how much you've grown or how much you've learned. And fuck, that's rough.
I also think I think that it, like, leans into why people become obsessed with maintaining a certain age. And, like, there's other reasons, right? Like, a lot of... I'm not saying that the societal pressures on women to look younger aren't real at all.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's an obsession that we have with our own pasts because we become obsessed with when it was easier or when we were a certain way. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it is a great ending.
Oh, it's great. No, I think it lands it so hard. I think that leaning into Sazed's like religions the way that it does, and really like the end really gives purpose to all of the decisions that were made along the way, and I think that was really smart.
Yes.
This book ended with the feelings that I wanted from the end of Wheel of Time that I didn't get. And this is why when people are like, would you recommend the Wheel of Time? I say, I would recommend the first 6 books, and then I can't really recommend anything after that.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like Brandon Sanderson's Wheel of Time books. I do.
Yeah.
But
it does not hit like this.
That series, the ending is trying to wrap up so many different things that aren't connected that it just kind of like gets them to the end, but it doesn't feel like it all like comes together in the end, right? Whereas this, I feel like all of the plot lines come together here. I felt like everything was about this story in a way that felt so satisfying and deeply like referential to the first book in ways that, you know, I love this. I love that it's just a trilogy. I love that my understanding is that Era 2 doesn't involve these characters. So I'm glad that this is just the story. Light Blindfold, that's not a spoilers for Wheel of Time. My feelings about the ending are not spoilers because you're going to feel, other people feel differently.
Yeah.
I can't spoil the end of my feelings for something for you because you're not going to experience them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that for some people in the end, like it did hit home. It worked
100%.
for them.
That's why I'm saying I can't. Me saying how I felt about it can't be a spoiler.
Yeah,
because you're not necessarily going to feel the same way that I do.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? I know that I'm in the minority on how I feel about the ending of that.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that this story. I hope that these characters don't come back. I don't ever want to read a story about them again.
It is one of those things where I hope that they are like mentioned as like, you know, influencing the world. I don't want Lester Borges to literally like show up. I
don't need to know what happens next for him.
No,
because there's no way that could compare. It's the problem I have with Star Wars sometimes, right? Where I'm like, I don't need you to continue this.
Yeah.
I want them to continue making Star Wars. I just like I don't need you to fill in all of the holes. I am happy. Like it's why like I stopped reading the comics because the Darth Vader comics I think are very good. I think they're very good comics, but they take place between movies in a way that like they muddy up the movies a little bit because I'm like Darth Vader did like 90 wars in between movie 1 and movie 2 if you follow the comics, right? Like so much is packed into those that you're like this is too much. I need this to I need this to be a little bit simpler. And I think that he really nails it here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
If you made it this far and you haven't read it yet, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Go read the books. Yeah. Some good shit.
Yeah. It was. All right, let's do high-low. We'll talk more about it next week, y'all. There's a lot more to talk about in this book.
Yeah, we've got a whole full book recap that we can cry at again.
What is your high for this book? Just for this section. We'll do full book next week.
I know.
Just for this section.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you.
I legitimately I'm like, oh, fuck. Maybe it was Sazed realizing that he's found the terrorist religion.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You okay? Yeah. I don't have a low. I'm not doing a low for this one.
I don't.
No, actually I will. The battle tactics against the Colossus.
I was going to say, you have a low.
Yeah. The battle tactics against the Colossus were bad. That's my low. I was sitting there being like, Ellen, what are you doing? This is so stupid.
Yeah.
How is Set letting this happen?
I don't have a low, except maybe that, like, I don't really understand why the, like, noble people didn't snap.
I still think it was preservation balancing the scales for the future.
Which, like, I think kind of makes sense, but it's the only thing I can think of as a low. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do a high for this, y'all. I'm just going to say it's a line. It is, of all of us who touched it, I feel she was the most worthy. I think that that's my high for the series. Because that's the moment where my heart broke and...
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a good book. Definitely recommend.
Yeah, it was. I don't know that I would have ever read this without book club, so I'm very grateful that we started this journey.
Yeah, me too. It's really good. Victoria's making Eric listen to them right now.
I saw.
They just started Final Empire, so I can't wait to talk to them about it.
Oh, wow. All right, y'all. Well, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, you're a monster. Hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is Vin Venture. Because who the fuck else would it be?
Yeah, I know, right? Literal god.
Yeah. If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
If you want to catch us live more, we're going to be live tomorrow with Dragonlance. We're back live. I know last week was a pre-tape, but we are going to be live. It's going to be a very fun session. Then Monday night, 6 p.m., we're going to be live with the return of the penultimates. If you watched our Daggerheart one-shot, Brian, Ellen, and Fariha are joining Clarus back at the table. We're going to catch up with the penultimates at the end of their career.
Yeah, level 10.
They're going to be the highest level you can be in Daggerheart, and we're going to be catching up with them. They've saved the kingdom. They've helped forge new roads from the seaside of Melodia to the land side. They've really become the adventurers they never thought they could be when they were just goofy level 2s. But there's been one name that's been haunting them the whole time. Sylvania. Ooh. A lesser evil god that seems to have had her hand in every single adventure they've been on. And it is time to face her. So if you want to see the level 10 adventures, the penultimates against Sylvania, join us Monday night for the first ever level 10 actual play of this setting.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I literally think we might be the first.
Yeah.
Gordon Chan, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for that super chat.
For making me tear up and have to turn off my screen for the meeting I'm in.
I'm sorry.
Johnny Coleman, $2 for a pullout.
Thank you.
Trust me, you don't have to pay me to pull out. And
yeah, next week full book
recap.
Series recap.
Yeah.
Technically.
Full trilogy recap,
yeah, full Mistborn recap for Era 1. And then the week after we're doing
Elantris Part 1. We'll have a schedule out.
Yes.
Piper Guy, so glad you finally entered the Cosmere. We can now journey together. Thank you, Piper Guy. Appreciate that.
Thank you for that super duper chat. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll be doing a full book recap next week, and then we'll start Elantris the week after.
Yes. Oh,
questions channel is open. Thank you,
Linus.
Mods. Remember, 3 questions only. And
yes. No leading questions.
Thank you for joining us for this 3-book adventure. We have many more to go on. But
luckily, Brandon Sanderson's a really fast writer, so we're never going to catch up.
of the stuff we've done on Book Club, I think that this has been the most special to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I really like this series, y'all.
It's very good.
It's gonna be weird to, as much as I never want to read these characters and anything else because the story's kind of perfectly tied off.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sad to not be with them more. So I can't wait for the anime, the live action. Just give me this story again and again in other mediums.
Yeah, exactly. Do something nerdy tonight.
Smut Corner! All right. God, Sazed, jacking off the powers of God. Sounds great.
I mean, Vin and Ellen get to live forever and fuck all they want.
I'm just sad they didn't get, one last fuck.
Well, they can fuck forever.
Yeah,
as
ethereal
ghosts.
Fucking probably, yeah, it's not the same.
You don't know.
I wish they could have had, one last fuck where she was like, I have to leave in the morning.
No, she left that moment. She was gonna go get the ATM.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Main Street Lamplighter, thank you for that super chat. We are very, very excited. Thank you for convincing us to do Mistborn.
I like Belder and Lestibornis realizing that he's healthy and being like, hey, we're in the middle of a field and I can't fuck you in front of everybody I know. So we need to find a quiet place real fast.
Well, everyone...
Also, he's a Mistborn now? Oh my god, he's gonna fuck the shit out of that
yeah,
girl.
and here's the thing. Luckily, all of the people that have survived are in this one field. So they just gotta go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that Beldir very quickly opens up their relationship to be more of a harem situation.
You think?
Because when Lestibornis burns pewter, she can't keep up sexually.
Oh,
and she's like, I just need other bodies to throw at you.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna survive.
But I can't. It's too much. Poor Beldir, you know? If you're like a non-Mistborn having sex with a Mistborn, or like... Oh, man. I just realized, poor Ham's wife.
I'm sure he turns his pewter off when they have sex.
Probably. Yeah. Otherwise, geez. Too much.
And then he turns it on when he's on the bottom. So she can really bounce up and down, not really worry about breaking anything.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't break a dick if it's pewter enhanced.
Yeah. Which is important, right? Because Lil Grey, she broke that dick.
Lil Grey
broke that dick. Please, before we end the stream, does anyone know what I'm referencing? I just want one person to say the television show I'm referencing when I say Lil Grey broke that dick. Someone. I am begging to not be the only person who understands this.
Arzu, I hope that in
no one's gonna be able to answer Lil Grey broke that dick.
Arzu, I hope that Mistborn Era 2 starts with the calling this generation the boomers.
L Gauge. Thank you.
Okay.
And with L Gauge reminding you all that Lil Grey from Grey's Anatomy broke that dick. Oh, Sandra, I'm not surprised you know. Bogdan Danbog, I'm a little surprised that you know. There we go. Do something nerdy. And we're going to go cuddle and
Bye, guys.
weep. Bye, everybody.